Testing, testing.
That still only counts as one. That still only counts as one.
Okay, let's get ourselves started here. So, first match that we're hopping into here looks like it is a Fellowship Block PC game between Budaman and Diego PPP. So we've got Diego up top here, and we have Budaman down below. It is currently Diego's Fellowship phase, or Fellowship turn, I should say, versus the Twilight Nazgul on the side of Budaman. And we've just had, who was that? Mary, friend of Sam, get killed by Olarinelia. We've got 3 copies of Gates of the Dead City out, which is the reason for all these exertions on everything, I'm sure. Okay, turn ends. We flip over now to Budaman's Fellowship, who's currently at Karascalaton for Site 6. He's got 4 copies of A Promise out, so we have a very beefy Frodo and Sam. We've got a Frodo who's got a higher strength than Aragorn here. Oh, and it looks like we're up against Sauron Grind, so we've got 3 copies of Under the Watching Eye, causing 3 exertions when they move, and then there's going to be 3 archery, 4 archery now from the other side. Oh, no, we've got all 4 copies of each of these out. Got a Ring Wraith and Twilight going down. There and back again being used to pump up all of the hobbits. And then all of that archery. So we have 3 archery coming in because the Mithril Coat blocked one of them. And then Frodo going up against a Ringwraith. Sam going up against the Orc. Moving is going to be tough though, because that is going to suck out all of that vitality that they're sitting on. So he uses up that Hobbit stealth there. He didn't really need it, but he uses it to so it's crazy you got the 8 by now. Guess he's just not expecting them to have walked all the way. Didn't really see what happened earlier in the game, so perhaps it's surprising that they lasted this long. Ouch. Okay. We've got an Inquia here with 5 burdens on the table. We've got a Pale Crown going down, although it probably won't benefit much. Yeah, that's going to be a dead Aragorn and a dead Pippin. I think this is going to be the end here. Those 5 burdens are always so powerful on Inquia. Diego skips the assignment and lets his opponent decide who's going to be skirmishing. Yeah, I think that this is well over. Let's see if he gets through it. He might have a few more of those. Is it enough? He'll need 1 more. No. That's that. He could have survived. Well, he would have survived 1. And then Inquia would have been fierce. So he would have gotten 4 more burdens from that. He'd be at 9. He'd be definitely on the edge of his, holding on by his fingernails at that point. But yeah, definitely a lot of setups here in these support areas. All right, so that's that for that. The only other 2 PC formats that are currently up are both private, and I suppose I will respect that and leave them private. As an admin, I have the ability to spectate those, but I'll leave them be for now. So let's hop into a regular movie block here between Doctor Strange and Magion. Magion is one of the people that is going to be at the World Championship next week. So let's see what we got. We got Magion here on top, and it's currently their Fellowship turn, and then we have Doctor Strange down below. Doctor Strange appears to be running Knights and Besiegers, and then on top it looks like from Magion we've got something that looks like a Sauron Grind plus Blade Tips. Wow, I wonder where the shadow is. And then on the Free People side, it's quite the smorgasbord, actually. Yeah, I don't know what to call this. It's definitely Frodo-centric. I mean, with that Boromir setup and then birthday present around. Interesting for the anti-archery here. We've got both Mithril Coat and we have Elven Coat, meaning that Frodo here is -2 to the minion archery total. But so Doctor Strange throws down his Gorgoroth Swarm and the Mordor Pillager. I've always thought the Gorgoroth Swarm here was such a missed opportunity here. It's like look at that picture. That is the army of Mordor, and it's 12 freaking strength. Like Aragorn beats that on a good day. that's so pathetic. This ought to have been like a 25. Like 20 strength, 5 vitality, I mean. And there are orcs, there are individual orcs that are like that. So why wouldn't you use this particular name and portrait combination for that kind of sizing instead? Then we've got the Great Siege Towers getting stacked up here with these tokens. Every time you play a Besieger, you can plop one of those, one token down on one copy of Great Siege Towers, and then you can use those tokens to give them +1 strength with a cap of 2 per tower per skirmish. So right here we're looking at a floating 3 strength that can be applied to any besieger. So Slinker's going to use his ability, adding a burden to make him strength +2, just enough for the pillager to no longer overwhelm him, but then he takes no wound. And then Gorgoroth Swarm just straight up takes out Galadriel, Lady Redeemed. So we're going to take another burden. I wonder if he's going to, yeah, go ahead and use one of those, get him up to 10 strength, make him do it a second time. So now that's a second burden that's been added. Frodo's looking pretty dangerous there. He's only got 3 resistance left. 3 more burdens. And then that'll be corruption right there. Okay, Grond is utilized. Removed 1 token to basically get rid of any Free People's card that costs 1. So got rid of the sword on Boromir. Make him a little bit weaker. And then he could, in theory, do this again for a 0-cost card, but there's no 0-cost cards on the table that aren't companions. And companions are not vulnerable to Grond. Okay, so now end of the turn, we now switch over. It is now Doctor Strange's turn. He starts with Grown Suddenly Tall, so discarded all conditions, nuked that shadow support area that was all built up nice and big. These over so a little clearer. Okay, and moves on down. So he's playing catch up. It looks like, getting just down to site 5, and we have this combination of Sauron Trackers and Nazgul, getting another Bowman down. We saw that all those Sauron grind cards were in play, that they got nuked by Grown Suddenly Tall. So he's looking to build it up a little bit at a time. Here comes Hate. 1 exertion on Cutthroat to place it on Faramir. Oh, but we got a second copy. He's looking to murder Faramir with the Hatred of the Orcs. But with all these copies of Sapling of the White Tree, each one can be discarded to prevent a wound on a Gondor companion. And so that's what happens. Uses one of those copies to save Faramir. Orc Bowman gets used during the archery phase, so we get +1 to the minion archery total, which goes on Elendil. So I'm trying to figure out where to put these particular characters. So we have a Strength 14 Elendil that can of course take on either one of these. You probably want to put them up against Taldea so that you don't get those exertions or burdens. And then Enquea, yeah, ends up against the next strongest, being Aragorn. It's not so bad if Aragorn gets hurt, that's fine. And then Cutthroat up against Gandalf, which I guess also makes sense. He's got all that extra vitality, he can take the loss. Aragorn's got Anduril, but he's also got this Ring of Barahir, which allows him to, at the start of each of your turns, you may spot a culture token to heal a companion of that culture. We don't have any culture tokens on the table, so that's not something he's able to use, but Aragorn here is definitely being used as a healer. Okay, we have Sharpen Your Swords getting thrown out, so Aragorn gets +4 strength, winning that the second Fierce Skirmish up against Enquea. We have Crashed Gate. At the start of the Regret phase, the Free People's player must add 3 threats or choose an opponent who may take control of a site, so he allows his opponent to take control of the site. So now each shadow is controlling 1 site, which is not much, but that is a hurdle. Getting over that initial hump is sometimes quite difficult. A lot of site control effects care about having 2 though, so we'll see what happens. So healing Boromir up to full strength so that his ability can be used once more to rescue Frodo here, and then the rest of the heals from the Sanctuary going on to Frodo, bringing him back from the brink of exhaustion. Moving on to Site 7, Osgiliath Crossing. Spot. Okay, so it's got an anti-6 companion clause, which is not going to come into play here. At least not for Magion. So we have their marching companies and troop tower coming into play. So their marching companies is for stacking minions to save them later on sites you control. And all Sauron orcs are strength +1 for each besiege stacked on a site. So you can really start to use that one site. So I guess they're gonna take off there. Let's see. Gorgroth Assassin uses his assignment ability. Spot a Sauron engine or a site you control to assign this minion to an unbound companion. Straight up putting him on Boromir so that Boromir is not able to sacrifice himself for the Troll of Gorgoroth. Yeah, this is looking pretty dicey. That troll is pretty powerful. So how many engines do we have out? We have the Great Siege Towers, that's 2 of them. We have Grond, we have their marching companies, and we have troop towers. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Meaning this guy was free. Straight up played a free troll. So they're already kind of talking. Looks like the game is probably wrapping up here with that troll. Obviously, you put it on Smeagol the first time, and then but the problem is, so the One Ring is going to be able to boost him up to Strength 5, so that he won't die to the Mordor Pillager. But then you got to deal with this Troll of Gorgoroth. And the second time, actually, you could get out of here with Frodo still alive. So Smeagol dies to the troll. Frodo takes a wound from the Mordor Pillager. Although, no, never mind, sorry, you have the 4 tokens here on Great Siege Towers. That's +4 strength that could be put onto this Pillager. That brings him up to Strength 13, and unless Magion here has a skirmish event. Oh, look at this. Putting Frodo on the troll, that pretty much is just saying, well, I guess, yeah, that's just him sacrificing. All right. Well, there's the GG. Let's hop back here and take a look. Another Free People's, PC Fellowship game going up. Unfortunately, also private, so we're not going to watch. So what shall we see? There's a Towers block here. Let's hop into Towers block. Oh, whoops. Okay, that was the wrong one. Another game came in and shifted things right as I was clicking. So let's hop into Towers. So we have Fly You Fools as the top player and Joey81 down below. Joey is also another person that has been invited to the World Championship. And you may think that looking at a Towers block match won't be that relevant, but actually now that PC Movie has multipath, you could see some people perhaps trying to pull some of their 2 tower strategies into PC Movie now that they have that site path available. We may see. So Fly You Fools is currently the Free People's player. Looks like they are running Ents with Unbound Hobbits. Bouncing Hobbits specifically, so you can discard those 2 to avoid various troubles. And it looks like Joey is running Beasterlings with Easterling Captain and that polearm, making him basically able to turn any excess Twilight straight up into strength that causes a problem. Oh dear. Looks like that was a alright, they must have been trying to be circumspect with the vitality of the Ents and put the Easterling Guard on Frodo, but that was clearly underestimating the power of Easterling Captain here. They don't call them Beasterlings for nothing. So that is quite the early win for that one. We had a very similar early win during the 2023 World Championship. the eventual world champion and the eventual world challenger, the top two, met in I think the first or second round of the top 8, and Basmelis, the world champion, attempted to run and flood the pool right on site 2, and his opponent happened to be holding an entire hand of trolls, and so every single bit of Twilight got used, and this giant troll swarm just absolutely murdered him on site 2. Fortunately, they managed to Basmelis managed to not get himself eliminated from the rest of the tournament, and he made it all the way back up to the finals, where he did eventually best the Faker. But it was quite the explosive start. Like having those early deaths is something that happens even in high level play. Sometimes it's just straight up a miscalculation. Let's go ahead and hop into another movie block match, this time between Vertigo and Dark Ranger. Looks like Vertigo is the top player, Dark Ranger is the bottom. Dark Ranger has a very large deck here, 136. This must be one of those self-mill decks where you check cards off the top of your own deck for various benefits. Let's see, is there anything in the dead pile? Dark Ranger has lost Sindri, but otherwise, I mean, this is just site 2 and 3 that they're getting to, so not a whole lot of action has happened so far. Up top, looks like you've got a classic Elfman, probably Last Alliance setup, although this particular Aragorn is not usually the one you use for Last Alliance, so maybe he's just purely there for his Defender +1 abilities. But you've also got Galadriel, Lady of the Golden Wood, which is an interesting inclusion. Normally, you see Elrond, Herald to Gil-galad, being used as the ally splash. But come to think of it, if most of your companions are, in fact, elves, then it would make a lot of sense to use her instead. Although it still comes out to 1 heal per turn, so it's approximately the same. Yep, but here comes the Last Alliance of Elves and Men. Dark Ranger lamenting the fact that they are the second player, and it looks like, yeah, they're already 2 sites behind. Moving rather slowly. Olokai coming out. It does look like this is a Besieger-based deck, so we'll see how that goes. But on these in these giant decks, you tend to really need to get one of those self-mill conditions out ASAP. There are strategies for doing this in a guaranteed manner and expanded. You can pretty much guarantee that you're going to get your stuff out. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Beneath the Mountains. Discard the top 3 cards from your draw deck to play a Dwarven weapon from your discard pile. And also Realm of Dwarven Elf. Place your support area, skirmish, discard the top 3 cards from your draw deck to make a Dwarf Strength +1. You could, of course, do that as many times as you want. If you're not actually in it for the skirmish pump, yeah, you're there to discard a whole bunch of stuff from the top of your deck. Now, one of the things that we have done in recent times is that we have added some helper functionalities to these cards so that they don't have to get reused over and over and over and over and over again. But it looks like it was only used twice, strictly for the just enough to win that particular skirmish, not to discard half the deck into the discard pile. So maybe this is just looking to use the skirmish abilities of these cards and not necessarily dunk everything into the discard pile. But I guess we'll see. Preparation setup, exert a Dwarf Companion to stack a card from your discard pile here, and Slake Thirst does indeed go on it. If this card is stacked on a Dwarven condition, you can spot a Dwarf Companion and discard this event to exert a minion twice. This is particularly good for taking out Grima, if you want to make sure that they're not going to have the ability to take off all of your hard-won Dwarven possessions. So that's definitely there as protection. But we've already flipped over to Vertigo on the Free People side, and looks like he is playing with fire here, going and playing his 6th companion. There's a lot of anti-6th companion cards out there. that are particularly powerful, most famously the Shotgun Inquaya. Ooh, pumping it up even to 7 companions. We have the original Sam, son of Hamfast, of course, coming out here and deleting as many burdens as they possibly can. And here we are. We've also got Elrond, Herald of Gil-galad, coming out with his Vilya. So with these, Grond is not going to... Oh, wait, no. That's for conditions, and Grond is a possession. But these other Besieger engines are probably going to be juggled back to their owner's hands and won't spend very much time on the field. Moving to Site 5 at the Crashed Gate at the start of the regroup phase, the Free People's player must add 3 threats or choose an opponent who may take control of the site. You probably go for the site in this case, since his opponent already has a site. For Besiegers at least, adding a second one is probably not going to do much for you. Dark Ranger blaming his draws. Apparently not drawing any minions, which... yeah, not fantastic. Stout and Sturdy, Lord of Moria. Plenty of pumps to make Gimli as powerful as possible. But without any companions, this is going to start looking pretty dire here. You're moving on to Site 4 and you've only got 2 companions out, and they're not like... They're not wimpy. You've got Narsil there, but none of the... it looks like if this is going to be a combination Knight Dwarf deck, you don't have any of the Knight side down here. So that Narsil is only giving +1 strength to Isildur when it could be giving as much as +6. So Gorgoroth Soldier, using his own ability to cycle a little bit out of Werdigo's hands to prevent some of those wounds that are coming down. And we have another copy of Preparations with another copy of Slake Thirst on there. That's his insurance. So now there's 2 conditions that have to be ditched if you're looking to use Grima or a similar similar individual. But that's that. Stops at Site 2, does not keep moving forward, and we switch over to Werdigo. Another Last Alliance coming out onto Faramir, and this is Son of Denethor. Any opponent may not play skirmish events or use skirmish special abilities during skirmishes involving Faramir, which means that although his strength tends to be somewhat on the lower side, there's nothing that the enemy can do to use any of these tricks to pump them back, to pump their minions up, which makes him very versatile. Okay, we got more Besiegers coming out. Great Hill Troll. When you play this minion at sites 5 to 9 on the king block, you may discard a Free People's condition. Probably going to hit one of those Last Alliances. Actually, that's the only thing. Well, it's either that or Tale of Gil-galad. That is a tricky choice to make when you've got that on Legolas. But yeah, it looks like he's going to bring Aragorn down, so that he's no longer got that +3 strength from the Last Alliance. The fact that he didn't go for Tale of Gil-galad tells me that he does not actually have a Shotgun Inquaya in his hand, because that would be the obvious choice to take that down and then try to use Inquaya to murder Greenleaf. Here we go, Vilya being used to chuck those great siege towers back into the their opponent's hand, now clogging them up. The PC version of Vilya has been altered to make it so that your opponent also has a chance to discard a card, so they can choose to either cycle another card out or decide that they don't want that particular condition clogging them up. And here looks like a very straightforward set of the Great Hill Troll going up against Faramir twice, hitting him once a piece and otherwise not doing much damage. Grond is being activated. What I believe, no. Yeah, Grond was activated and discarded Vilya. Yeah, of course. Want to get that out of there as soon as possible. Okay, we have Footman's Armor going on Isildur, but there's no fortifications in place, so that's not too helpful at the moment. And yeah, so they are once again stuck with just these two companions up against besiegers all the way on site 5. Okay, response. Okay, so what happened here? We had, oh yes, so when Great Hill Troll comes into play, he's able to discard a Free People's condition. But we have Gimli's own game text response. If a dwarven condition is about to be discarded by an opponent, exert a dwarf or discard a dwarven card from hand to prevent that. And it looks like, okay, so preparations being used to, okay, both preparations being used to knock those Slake Thirst off of them, bringing that Hill Troll all the way down to 1 vitality, and then discarding the hand axe from Gimli to make the archery total on the Free People side +1, meaning, and with only 1 minion in play, there was only one place for that particular axe to go. So these two are being surprisingly resilient all the way through this this site path so far, but it does sort of look like the plan's not really coming together. They're just kind of using their tricks in a way that it sort of seems like there's supposed to be a lot more here. More knights, more dwarves, and another half of the support area that's just kind of missing at the moment. He does go for the double. We've got 2 copies of Great Siege Tower, meaning +1 strength for each of those tokens you can see there, and their marching companies, which is mostly used to set up the controlled sites here. There are no threats on Dark Ranger's side, so they're not particularly useful at the moment. Gorgoroth Assassin coming out. You can once again choose who's going to be assigned to, and then, oh, okay, so we're probably going to have this guy go on Gimli, and then you're going to have the Troll of Gorgoroth being assigned to Isildur. Yep, there it goes. Now, Isildur should be fine. Oh, never mind. So we have +3 strength coming on here, which is going to be 17 strength there. That's going to be just on the cusp. Interesting. Okay, so the abilities here are being used to pump up the Gorgoroth Assassin and force Gimli to use the other abilities, such as the Realm of Dwardelf Hill here. He's keeping pace with him. Yeah, but we have Stout and Strong here, pumping him up to 12. That's going to be a very dead assassin. And now none of those tokens are available to pump this guy up, but if they didn't have anything from hand, then it wouldn't have mattered anyway. It was not quite enough to get Troll of Gorgoroth to the Overwhelm threshold. But now we have the Troll going up against Gimli. And Gimli discards his helm to prevent all wounds to him, meaning that he no-sells the Troll there. Troll's regroup ability, exert Troll to stack a besieger on a site you control. So now we've got the Troll over there lurking. We've got their marching companies that can burn a threat to bring him back out, and there will be other effects that could possibly play in from there. So we switch back over to where to go. He is healing up at the sanctuary, and we've now got a completely clean slate here. Anduril coming out on Aragorn. Noble leaders coming out that can be used. Wow, okay, so that's 3 whole, 3 tokens going on there, 1 each for Aragorn, Boromir, and Faramir. So this is going to be quite useful. That's 4 strength total now that is available as a flex for any of these 3 characters. And Radagast coming out, making the move limit +1. They could, it looks like he may be setting himself up to try and run all the way from 6, 7, 8, 9. You could end the game right now. So let's see, we got our Great Siege Towers, we've got our Grand, we've got Tower Walkway. Discard 3 Sauronarchs to take control of the site. We don't care about that, but each besieger is strength +1 for each site you control. So the besiegers are getting pumped up by this one site that's over here, and while that's out, other effects that control sites are not quite as, unnecessary as the ones you've got over here. Gorgoth Berserker coming out. He's a Besieger and he's Enduring, and he's been given Gothmog's Warg to give him +1 Vitality. So Legolas is not going to be able to simply snipe him out. And if he tries, that Gorgoth is going to reach absolutely beastly strength here. Now you do have his ability here. What do we have? We have Galadriel being exerted by Secret Sentinels, and they are taking out that tower walkway, so that the plus strength bonus is not there. And then we've got Gorgoth Berserker using his ability, exerting himself twice to take control of a site. So even though the tower walkway has been gotten rid of, you want to go ahead and get those sites controlled, but that now puts him in range for Greenleaf to exert himself twice and take them out. So Gorgoth Assassin is going to go ahead and assign himself to Legolas Greenleaf, and the Troll is going to get assigned to Faramir. Now, although Faramir's text makes it so that the Shadow player is unable to use skirmish special abilities, there's nothing that says that he himself cannot use skirmish special abilities. So 3 of those tokens are being used from noble leaders to pump him up, big enough to be able to take out the Troll. And then Greenleaf is going to take a wound here from Gorgoth Assassin. But then that is that. At the start of the regroup phase, you may discard this condition or a card from hand to heal an elf using Shadow Between. So it looks like he's going to use one from hand to heal. And then, of course, you've got Elrond exerting to heal Legolas Greenleaf, so that now he's more available. But Osgiliath Channel, regroup. Spot your minion and 6 companions to make the Free People's player choose to move again. So it looks like Dark Ranger has forced the move. Which I didn't really see that coming, but so with that, Radagast the Brown has permitted Dark Ranger here to discard 2 cards from hand to draw 2 more, and it looks like we have quite a lot of Twilight and quite a few Besieger cards coming out. We got their Marching Companies. We have an Ithil Stone that did not get utilized just yet, but then here, I was talking about this before, these giant individual orcs practically. Why couldn't the Gorgoroth Swarm be at approximately that level? But whatever. Okay, so we do have this assassin that's going to be able to assign himself somewhere. Greenleaf could take him out. Yeah, it looks like that's what he's going to do. He's going to just go ahead and take him out with Greenleaf, leaving Greenleaf exhausted, but he's going to be very far from skirmishing considering all these other powerhouses that are currently on the table and ready and able to take anything on. Now, 20 strength is quite a bit. That's enough to overwhelm Aragorn right now, who's at 10 strength. He would have to use that last usage of noble leaders to keep him alive. So the other option is to put him onto Faramir, who's got 12 strength and could shrug it off. However, we do have those 3 tokens on Great Siege Towers that you shouldn't ignore. That's only going to be a maximum of 2 strength per fight. Oh, but of course, if you put them up against Faramir, then they cannot utilize any of those special abilities. So we get a wound on Faramir and a wound on Aragorn, and neither of them are fierce. So we get right to Shadow Between, once again discarding another card from hand. Where to Go is now sitting at 0 cards in hand. There's no tricks, no backups. And then Siege Troop is going to exert twice to take control of a site, so they've now got 3 sites. If we ever get that walkway out again, that's going to be a +3 strength bonus to all Besiegers. Dark Ranger goes ahead and reconciles, so they discard another instance of Slake Thirst and draw back up to 8. And then Where to Go has now drawn 8 cards because they were completely tapped out. So who knows what they're holding. Ever My Heart Rises, that's another one of those self-mill cards. He's down to less than 80 cards in his deck. Oh, but look at that. Tower Walkway ends up on there. Look at all those cards, and I'm sure that he would have preferred to have drawn here in the next couple of turns. You have a Blood Runs Chill that goes on that can be retrieved, but the other shadow cards that are on here are stuck here. The only way to get rid of those cards is to discard. Dark Ranger complaining about the variability of his draws, and yeah, looking at this, like all those all those very potent Besieger cards ending up in a place that he can no longer access them. But that is kind of the name of the game. When you've got these giant decks, you're never going to be consistent. Oh, hey, looks like Sylvania said something in chat. Oh, just hi. Welcome. Sorry I didn't see you right when you came in. I kind of feel like the chat interface over here does not do a very good job of like alerting me. It seems like I have to manually click on it to refresh it, which is stupid. Anyway, let's see. So Dark Ranger has moved forward, managed to put down a couple of extra cards on the Free People's side. And we do have Aragorn coming out with his bow. So now there's a little bit more Twilight on the table, and Dark Ranger is punishing it with all of these cards coming out. 2 instances of their marching companies, 3 Great Siege Towers, for a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strength that is now flexible. And because it's spread across multiple instances, the individual +2 limits are only going to apply to those individual cards. So that's rather dangerous. 5 flexible strength that can be put anywhere they want. Aragorn's bow being utilized to knock out one of these Mordor pillagers. And the Gorgoroth assassin assigning himself to Aragorn, forcing the higher strength individuals to be put up against Gimli and Isildur. So the agitator being put up against Isildur, and the pillager going up against Gimli, leaving that Gorgoroth soldier to be assigned wherever Word-to-Go wants it to go. Almost certainly that's going to be on Isildur. No, going up against Aragorn. Interesting. So of course, with the ability to get those that +3 strength from Realm of Dwardelf, but just by discarding off the top of this enormous deck, Gimli is probably going to be relatively safe. But looks like Word-to-Go is making him burn through all of those resources with these siege towers. So it's now a tie at the moment. Gimli could use another one of his resources to try and win the skirmish. But if not, that'll be a wound on the only dwarf here. Okay, so we have from the armory, exert a dwarf and stack a Free People's card from hand here to prevent all wounds to that dwarf. Okay, that's a little odd to me, because you had to exert the dwarf to do that. I guess he was pulling out the preparation specifically. Maybe there's a reason for that. Aragorn ends up dying. What did I miss? I didn't think it was that bad. Oh, right. It was because they assigned the 2. That's right. And there just weren't any tricks left for Aragorn, so he got taken out. So preparations has been used to put Slake Thirst back into play. We've got 2 copies of preparations, one of them with Slake Thirst and the other without. And we have 1 copy of preparations over here on this from the armory. It's inactive while it's stacked, so unless there's some ability somewhere that allows them to take it from there, that's going to be that. But so we have switched over to Word-to-Go. He is running low on his deck. He's got 7 cards in hand and 11 in deck. But moving on to the Site 9, so it probably doesn't matter. 3 threats have been added, so now there's a grand total of 4 there. We have Gothmog. When you play Gothmog, the Free People's player must wound a companion for each site you control. 3 sites, so 3 wounds, 2 going on Radagast and 1 going on Sam. We have another copy of Great Siege Towers coming out. So now that's a grand total of 4 flex, because you can't use more than 2 in a single instance, but we do have that tower walkway coming out again. So all these besiegers are now strength +3. I say all of them. There's only 2 so far. 3. Here comes a berserker. Right now, one of these, the agitator, is in range of Greenleaf taking him out with only the 2 vitality. There are marching companies coming out, but unfortunately there are no minions yet stacked on these, so it looks like that's just really getting it out there for the sake of getting it out there. And what was that? Stand Against Darkness. Exert an elf to discard a Sauron minion condition or possession. Took out Gothmog. There's no way that these are going to chew through here. Greenleaf can very easily take out that 2 vitality individual. Gorgoth Berserker just giving up, taking control of the site because why not? But here we go. Pop goes the Weasel, and then this guy's got 2 vitality left. Not that it matters. Yeah, that's perfunctory. May as well let him get the skirmish win. He's not actually going to be able to get through all these. Frodo is very safe behind this wall of elves, men, and I guess Sam. So that's that. Where to Go wins. Let's see what else we got. Alright, so we have a Fellowship Block PC match between Botnik and Big Ed19. Both of these are people that are going to be at the World Championship. So let's see what we got. So we have Big Ed19 going first. He has double moved all the way to Council Courtyard. He is up here on the top. Looks like we've got an Estelle deck with the new Gimli, the V1 Gimli. Dwarves, elves, and men, huh? Cleaning up all these Moria orcs that had managed to get themselves played. So now he's sitting pretty well at that sanctuary with only 2 wounds on the table. That's all going to get healed away. Gimli getting very well set up here. And yeah, that's that. So now it's switching over to Botnik, who is also playing a dwarf deck. Book of Mazarbul coming out ASAP, which is very nice. It won't affect him until he gets to Site 4, but having it out well before Site 4 is very nice. Greatest Kingdom of My People coming out, as well as Farron. And it looks like Big N is playing Nazgul. Blade Tip going down. Blade Tip is one of those things that can be very devastating if placed right. And the Witch King, Lord of Angmar, coming out on Site 2. Up, and there we go. We've got that Hobbit Intuition at Sites 1 to 4. Cancel skirmish involving a Hobbit. And in Fellowship Block, pretty much only Fellowship Block, you're able to cancel the Ringbearers skirmish. But looks like we end up sacrificing Farron there to the Witch King to keep everyone else alive. So it's not looking great down here, but up here on top, looks like Big N is confident enough. He goes ahead and throws out Gandalf, friend of the Shirefolk, putting him up to that 6 companion limit. I ain't scared of no shotguns. And we have Mithril Mine coming out. Now that we're hitting Site 4, and it looks like Botnik is playing Moria, this is definitely where Moria starts to take off. Here comes the Goblin Armory, the center of Moria's Twilight Engine. Moria Scout playing himself for free because he can spot an elf. And the Goblin Scimitar getting played, which causes the Goblin Armory to add a Twilight. And then the Goblin Scimitar draws a card, which you might be able to play now with the extra Twilight that is being generated by the armories. That is going to be the constant loop that you're going to see here. Host of Thousands being used to play a Moria Orc from the discard pile. Guess there wasn't anything good in hand to play. Troll's Keyword coming out. Another Moria Scout, again, playing for effectively no Twilight. But that's that. Looks like we have these 3 orcs out. 1 Fellowship arrow that's going to get placed on that Troll's Keyword. And this is a relatively easy skirmish so far. We got 2 people that are going to... Actually, all 3 of them are going to straight up win their skirmish. Gimli's Battle Axe going to be wounding another orc, putting a wound there on the Moria Scout, making sure that Fror kills him when he wins. And then you've got the Dwarven Axe, the errata Dwarven Axe, which is being used to make a minion strength -1, although they can discard cards off the bottom of their deck to prevent this if they so wish. And then Gandalf is just going to straightforwardly win his skirmish. Only get 1 wound on the Moria Scout, but that's fine. The trick here is now going to be deciding whether or not Big N is going to move to Site 5 with 8 Twilight already in the pool. That's going to be adding 12 more, which is quite a lot of Twilight to be handing Moria, especially when you have that guaranteed Balrog. And there's already an Orc on the table, so both Balrogs are going to be on the table here. Botnet reconciles. What's Big N going to do? He goes for it. He takes the run. Goblin Runner coming out, adding even more Twilight, and here comes the Balrog, Flame of Dune. We've got these 13 Twilight on the table. You're able to exert the Balrog and remove 2 to play an Orc from your discard pile. There's going to be quite the swarm coming here. First, all these scouts. Oh, and a cave troll. Looks like the keyword wasn't here to make him even cheaper, but this is going to be quite the painful skirmish. Looks like he's deciding whether or not he's going to try and use the rest of that Twilight. He could easily get another scout out using the Balrog's ability. Here it comes. This one's going to be a Scrabbler, getting rid of, well, I don't know why he did that one instead of another scout. I'm pretty sure there was another one in the discard pile, wasn't there? Oh no, that was it. Okay, so that's all I can see anyway. There is a bug currently where I cannot see things that were discarded before I connected, but there wasn't much before I connected. At any rate, looks like this is that. So you've got the big old Balrog, you've got the big old cave troll. Playing. We may yet exert a companion with the Frodo Signet to make that companion strength +1 for each companion with the Frodo Signet you can spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, bringing him up to 16. And because of the sheer amount of damage bonuses that this guy has, he's right now damage +1, damage +3. So doing 4 wounds, taking out the troll in one fell swoop. Very nice. And then Balrog up against Gandalf. Gandalf takes 2 wounds. Now, who do you sacrifice? Because he'll overwhelm anybody, or put 2 wounds on the people that are able to survive. And right now, there's no Gimli's Helm in play, so this is a sacrifice play. Yep, there goes Furor. There's no Uruk-hai being played, so his bonus isn't particularly useful. Get him out of there. Get him right down to the 5 companion limit instead of the 6, so that Shotgun and Quaya and other similar cards will no longer be as effective. Alright, so we switch back over to Botnik, and poor Botnik, he's all the way back here on Site 2. Well behind. At this point, he may very well be considering just sacrificing his Fellowship play, because there's a good chance that he's not going to be able to catch up to Big N. So it's all about setting up your shadow for the perfect swarm to try and take these guys out. Greatest Kingdom of My People coming down. Bilbo being played as well to be able to discard shadow conditions. Greatest Kingdom is itself a tail, so that must have been what happened. I think Bilbo sacrificed the other copy that was currently out here to get out that blade tip. But we have once again the Witch King coming down, this time with the Pale Blade. So those other conditions are within reach. The Witch King is almost certainly going to win his particular skirmish. 17 to 9. That's going to be 2 wounds. Oh, and because, yeah, poor Gloin there was already wounded. That's 2 wounds on him, and then Witch King here is going to exert twice to get rid of those 2 conditions that are there, so that Bilbo has no more fodder to discard tails to get rid of shadow conditions from the... Uh-oh, here we go. That was just enough because you're still on Site 5, and so Hobbit Stealth is still useful. So Frodo was able to cancel his skirmish up against the Witch King.
It's on Site 3, is he not?
Oh yeah, Site 3, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, he's... I didn't hear you come in, Mark.
Hey, no worries. I came in just as Gimli was absolutely slaughtering a cave troll, and I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, that was quite the, like, you see that happen a lot with orcs, but not usually with something as big as a troll. That was impressive.
Yeah, it was. I have no idea what happened up until that point, but that was a good moment to start watching this match.
All right, well, we have Big N moving on to the Sanctuary at Site 6, and we have Botnik now trying to make up ground with his Swarm. He finally got a Goblin Scavenger out, being able to pull the Goblin Scimitar down, but everything got nuked from the support area. What happened? Did I miss a Sleep Caradhras? Yeah,
Sleep
there it
Caradhras was played.
Yeah, so before moving, he played that Sleep, got rid of the whole support area. So now both sides of his support area have been completely wiped clean, except for that lone Bilbo, who now can't do anything without any of those tails in play.
Doesn't seem like he had most of the key support stuff yet anyway, though. Paragoblin Domains is unfortunate, but only one armory, no swarms were killed.
Yeah.
So he's catching right back up here, at least from a shadow support area perspective.
Wait a minute. Did he use Moria Scout on Dimmeril Dale? That feels like a bit of a misplay, because Moria Scout was going to refund its own cost anyway from... Well, okay, actually, never mind. So this would have been free, absolutely free from Dimmeril Dale, and then you just get the add 2 from Moria Scout. So he was a +2 instead of a...
Right, he doesn't reduce his own
2.
Twilight by 2. He adds it back after the fact.
Right, okay, so I guess that was not a misplay, yeah.
That works out. Tower Assassin's probably just worth getting rid of at this point. It doesn't look like there's any allies on Big N's deck.
Right. Not that he really needs it either. It looks like he's all set up, ready to go.
He's walking strong with Super Friends. Is it all Frodo Signet except for Aragorn?
And in fact, that was exactly how Gimli won that one, using the new, or I say new, as if V1 has not been out for 2 years at this point, but the V1.
Oh, the +1 for each Frodo Signet. I didn't see the card played. I just saw the troll die.
Yeah. Yep, that's why he's got that little exertion on him, was from that card, which I don't think I've ever actually seen played, but yeah, he got the maximum +4 with the 4 Frodo Signets on the table.
I always look at it with a Pipeweed deck, and it's just so hard to fit in the extra events.
Yeah. Here now we've got our, switching back over to Botnik, way back on Site 4. We have both a Blade Tip and a Black Breath out with Cantea. Yeah, this is not looking good.
No weapons on the field for Cantea to discard at the moment, so it's just his standard.
True, yeah. I saw that +1 and thought it was a hand axe, but no, that's bracers. But here comes
it's always a thing that I forget. Can he discard any possession or just weapons? But it is weapons only, so the bracers are fine, the book is fine.
So, puts the Black Breath on him the first time, but does not yet assign the Blade Tip, just to leave it as a bit of a threat, and now it comes down.
Well, he lost the first skirmish.
Oh, he lost the first skirmish. That's right, because of the event.
I didn't catch what event it was, but
right.
He played something that brought him up to an 11.
Yeah, but
losing the second one's going to be hard there. At this point, I've got to think Botnik is just playing for Shadow.
Yeah, at this point, when you're this far behind, you just have to try and try to get all of your Free People's cards out of your hand so that you can try to build this up. Got another Armory down. Scavengers is able to single-handedly
start a draw engine there.
Yeah. No
Archer phase, Scavengers in discard as well, so it'd be easy enough for him to pull out some more, but who knows what's in that hand. He didn't play very much on his Fellowship, and whether that's because he's held Shadow or just because he's clogged with something is hard to say.
Well, if he's clogged, They Are Coming is definitely going to help with that.
Absolutely.
Any of those extra Free People's cards that are useless at this point.
Trying to scroll through the chat here. What did he reconcile?
Relics of Moria.
He's already got one in play.
Yeah.
So that's not surprising. It's unique. But yeah, I'm curious to see what's going on here. The long wait makes me think that he's doing some math to see if he can pull something off.
Yeah, 9 Twilight's not very much, even for Moria, and with only one instance of Goblin Armory out, he isn't quite able to go infinite. So we have a Moria Axe coming out, paying for itself. Moria Axe costs 1, so it doesn't quite get him any surplus. And it's
interesting
also
to not grab the Scimitar from last turn. Would have been one more Twilight and a card draw.
Looks like, yeah, he had another Tower Assassin clogging up his hand, looks like, so he's not quite able to really get it going. So he's got
Three
all
cards
this.
with
He's
there
got,
coming could give him.
there's
I
another
assume there's a
Scavengers
runner
in
in the
there.
discard pile. He doesn't have the Twilight for another Scavengers.
Yeah.
A Scout could go a long way if he's got something else to play.
True. Yeah, it all depends
Come in
on
for
what's in
free
his hand.
there and potentially let him use the relics to grab a Scimitar.
But looks like that's that.
But
They're
nope.
already moving on to the assignment phase because of Anduin Wilderland. The archer phase gets skipped, and then looks like Gimli is going to take out both Scavengers by himself with that battle axe. And then,
It's probably a good call to save the armory. He can't double the 9 right here, and that's going to be needed for the last swarm.
for sure. Blade tip coming in, but he does have Dwarven Bracers, so you can smack the blade tip that's stuck in your body with the Dwarven Bracers to block it. But as usual, he's holding on to the bracers until the very last one. It usually doesn't make sense to try to use that except for rescuing at the very last wound.
Oh no.
Oh, he didn't read it quite properly, so he put down Red Book and then tried to use Bilbo to discard, but Bilbo only targets cards that are in an opponent's support area. So you can get the blade tip while it's over there, but once it's stuck inside somebody, Bilbo doesn't know what to do with it.
This is looking both good. Coming out.
Ouch, yeah.
No Twilight left for Atea, but without a boost for Frodo twice here, I think this is likely to be game. Though he's still at site 5, he could stealth it.
Yeah, he could still stealth it. But Dead Gimli's not looking good.
Yeah, he needs 2 stealths. See if he's got it.
He might. He was holding on to a lot of cards. There it gets.
Yep.
Oh no, that's intuition.
It's intuition.
That's not stealth.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, getting him out of his hand, you may as well.
Needs to cycle those, absolutely. There's not a site 8 for Moria that's going to be a big kill site here.
Add 2 to the minion archer total. That's not terrible.
Nope. A few extra wounds, but
yeah.
I mean, unless he's really built that hand, he just drew 5 cards. It could be, if it's runners and scouts all day long, this could be good for him.
Scavenger off to a good start. Using They Are Coming. Let's see what he gets rid of. Tildurin Wakes Again, Gimli's Helm, and Tildurin Wakes Again. Yeah. Drew those a little bit too late.
Grab that scout back. Runner is good.
So he's now up to more Twilight than he had when he played that first Scavenger. Pulling out the Relics of Moria, playing the Moria Axe on the Moria Scout, who does have the vitality to use it. Oh, Drew and Quaya just a little bit too late. He was, Big N was sitting at 6 companions for a little while.
Oh, would have been really not. Gimli's got bracers. Couldn't have finished Gimli off, but could take Aragorn out here. If he'd had the extra companion.
Yep. Or Greenleaf. That's always something you want to take off the field when you have all these 1 vitality Scavengers.
That is true. Been watching Gimli kind of handle everything on his own. He seemed like the prime target, but with bracers, it's just not doable.
There goes Gimli's Battle Axe against the Scavenger. You don't want to use the armory still.
Honestly, maybe you do. Well, he's not going to double jump. There's no reason for him to. He's clearing the board.
Yeah. Gimli just knocks him out with all those...
Yeah, it's a well-equipped dwarf right there.
Yeah, and he doesn't take it. So Frodo is now going to be slinking into Site 6.
Well, he's got a dwarf that can jump in and take a hit.
And then Dimmeldale's only going to add 3 Twilight plus 1 for Frodo. So you're looking at a total of 5 Twilight, which is not enough to play the bigger... Oh, here he is, just
clearing out the shadow. Grab anything he can to walk into Site 9.
Frodo gets to live another day. Interesting. Okay. Using
2 extra cards.
Frodo's ability, and then what was that? Oh, and then using friend of the Shower Folk, discarding from hand to heal him. So, yeah, may as well. Okay, now we're talking. We
Yeah,
got
3 armories on the table.
armories.
Might be too late, but this could
Let's see.
could mean a lot
he drew
for
3
him.
cards because of Summon at Amon Hen, so he's still at 8 cards right now. That's a whole nother instance of they are coming. We've got all
Sure
the okay.
is.
There's the scavengers. Nope.
Grabbing a scimitar. Yep. Keep drawing. Keep trying to get more minions.
Flankers.
Flankers.
I'm still a little bit sad to see the change to
The Goblin Patrol Troop.
the Goblin Patrol Troop, because that actually gave flankers a reason to come out. Like,
I know.
people never used it, and then now suddenly flankers was everywhere because Goblin Patrol Troop loved using them. And
yeah, the Patrol Troop definitely was too strong, but I agree.
That's
I would
why
have
I
loved
kept
to
advocating
see
for the additional Twilight, like because I wanted to see this deck archetype survive, but
yeah, I'd been floating Exerdominion twice or Flankers once. Or, sorry, Exerdominion twice or Patrol Troop once for a bit of that, but it never caught any traction.
Well, this is looking pretty good, though. We got the Trolls keyword coming out, making Cave Troll Moria a little bit cheaper. Still got 4 Twilight.
Points left, only one card in hand, though.
Yeah.
Everybody's already equipped. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a solid last sight play there, but Frodo only has to fight one minion here. So unless that last card somehow can make the runner +5, I don't think it's gonna matter in the end.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. We're gonna see another misted Cave Troll. Kaboom! And then, of course, go for that. But with these 3 armories, that's not happening this time.
I so rarely see the giant Gimlis anymore, but I remember back in original Fellowship block days when it was just the card game, Gimli would just be hand-holding to walk into Site 5 and just slaughter the Balrog. It was such a common kind of deck trope that it always makes me laugh when I see him pulling that kind of thing off.
And there it goes.
That's game.
Yep. All right. Well, that had some nice moments from Gimli, definitely carrying the entire Fellowship on his back here. But yeah, and both of these individuals probably ironing out the last few changes that they want to make to their PC Fellowship decks before the World Championship.
I do wonder when we see these, is this them practicing the decks for the championship, or is this them blowing off steam because they've already established what they're playing and they're just kind of
surely they have to be making
things.
some observations. Like, if one of them was going to be doing Moria Swarm, that's something that you look at and think, like they were able to hold that off pretty well. Is that something that I make changes about? But yeah, it's hard to say. Now, this particular one is private, so I'm going to leave them to their working. Now, both of these individuals were invited to the World Championship, but Daddy Beef had to back out, so he won't actually be there. But the Dast will. Let's see. Shall we jump into another one of these movie block? Here's one that just started. Let's hop in there. Was that a sealed match? No, I'm misreading.
Which one are we looking at? Is this Chrisme and
TMSS2? So Chrisme's going first as Free Peoples, starting at Dunhauer Plateau to take preparations from his deck, and then we've
got a maneuver wound.
Yeah, and then Eowyn. So we have Thrall of the One coming out with the ring draws them, of course, not because they care about the other ability, but because it requires you to exert a Nazgul, and since this is an enduring Nazgul, that
makes them a little bit bigger, lets them add that burden.
Yeah. And Frodo bid 3 over here. Now, it is the Resistance 12 Frodo with no other text, but
yeah, whether that's effectively a bid of 1 on a regular Frodo, or if that's 2 extra burdens to spot for whatever it is that TMSS is running. Hard to say at this point.
Okay, and Lady of Ithilien just takes him right out. Doesn't even have a chance to use any of those wounds.
Yeah, jumping right along. Adding 3. Yeah, I mean, I know the ring draws that wasn't played for those.
And Quaya comes right back out.
Can't use Aowen again. No additional. Oh wait, is this not a PC
This
game?
is not PC. Yeah, there's no.
This is not PC.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that Lady of Ithilien can be used as many times as they want. In PC, we have restricted it so that if you only have one Rohan companion out, then Aowen can't use it more than once a turn.
One Rohan character.
True. Yeah, you could slap down and.
I've watched YK use one of the allies that heals to keep Aowen kind of running and being able to use twice when necessary.
So here, Legolas finally comes out, not quite to kill him, but just to make it so that Lady of Ithilien's gonna wipe the floor again. It's really kind of crazy that the most powerful version of Aowen is the one that they have like in a dress at a party instead of any of the other possible versions they could have used.
She's the politicking one, not the fighting one.
Backstabbing or front stabbing, I guess.
I feel like her normal one is front stabbing.
Okay, classic Castamere of Umbar coming from Chris Me to TMS's line of knights here. We've got the Raider Halberd being played on Castamere of Umbar. He's going to be able to exert all the way up to the brink of exhaustion to bring this guy up to a very high strength value. And classically, this is happening on site 2.
This is why Castamere was errated in PC.
It's why we had to errate him 3 different times to get him to just the right spot. And I think that we finally arrived at something that is doable.
Oh, but it does look like he might eat 2 companions here.
Yep, 2 companions just straight up eaten.
I mean, if you're going to be walking with Isildur +1, the Garrison of Gondor is not a bad choice, but that's got to be like a bit of a rough start.
Yeah, look at that. Fun start. I agree. But it's classic. That's what happens. That's one of the reasons why Corsairs is so powerful in the movie.
I haven't played regular Decipher outside of tournaments in so long that I sometimes forget some of these cards that have just been errated since I found the game again.
Mm-hmm.
I forget how strong they used to be.
And Corsairs is one, we definitely over-nerfed them initially. I do think that we've brought them back to a point where they are probably playable, but people already have it in their head that they were nerfed to oblivion, and so people don't give them another chance.
I've seen a few Moria Navy decks going on with them recently, but I haven't seen a straight Corsairs deck in a while.
We might have to issue some new cards to Corsairs in a V3 to try and get people's attention again. Here we have a 3rd copy of Inquia for all of the 1 coming out. Now, so far he's been ineffectual because of that Lady of Ithilien. I've been on the receiving end, though, of this exact sort of draw luck where you see him 3 sites in a row. And if he'd actually been able to pull off his combo here, that would have been easily 6 burdens or more being added. But Lady of Ithilien just won't let him get anywhere.
Yeah, I didn't watch closely in the thread, but I suspect he shuffled one of them back in. He played that Skulker on site 3, so he probably still has 2 left in the deck.
That could have been it. Blood Run's Trail being used to nuke the support area so that he's just not getting any traction at all. Fortifications coming out, but nobody to fortify them. Another Black Sails of Umbar coming out. Let's rearrange this a little bit.
The display on Gemp ketura, if I rearrange them so that it looks better for my spectating, that nobody sees that, right? Like
Correct.
That's not affecting their view of the game.
No. That is purely for your view. If you were to refresh after you do that, in fact, here I'll just go do that real quick. I refresh.
It goes back to what it was.
Yeah, it goes back. So it's purely a client-side thing that nobody else sees.
All right, good. We got Aglos on Greenleaf. It's going to just help his engine here, and Sam came out to clear all of the burdens.
Out of sight and shot being used to recycle Inquia once more. Actually, maybe that was how they got him in one of those other times as well. It's hard to say. Bent on Discovery is another one of those that requires a Nazgul to be exerted. This time, putting that onto Otsia instead of Inquia, because I think he really wants that Inquia to make it. And yeah. Pelennor Flat being triggered now at the start of the maneuver phase, the Free People's player must discard his or her hand or add 2 burdens. That's instantly going to give the Shadow side initiative, but it doesn't look like there's anything on the table that will take advantage of that. The 2 burdens, though, well, Samson Hamfast already came over and ate all the burdens off of Frodo.
He sure did.
So maybe the 2
might entice him to not toss Sam right here after he's been played.
Looks
though
like
he doesn't need to worry so much.
He did
6
go for
companions, but
6
it's
companions,
the
but the
doesn't
wrong
matter.
Anquea.
Yeah.
Here we have shoulder to shoulder being used to recycle wounds off of people.
Yeah. Legless putting that second wound on Astea for Eowyn to take advantage of. I'm gonna bet he uses Smeagol to exhaust Nkea here. Has Eowyn finish them both off. Maneuver Wounds is a strong deck against this kind of shadow.
Yeah. Actually could do either one of those. Could do the assignment ability, or could use Don't Look at Well. Okay, we have an event coming out. Yeah.
Might be a really good play here. I'm surprised to see it in an Enduring deck, though.
Yeah, but there we go. Exhausted Nquea, you called it. Being exhausted by always helps.
I think I would have held that All Blades Perish for right here. If you had it to use right in that moment. Well, maybe Smeagol still would have. It would have depended on the play, because Smeagol wouldn't have had to do the assignment action if he hadn't played it the first time around, so it might not have mattered.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones that I'm curious about how it would play out, but it could have caused absolutely zero difference.
Okay, base of Mindaloon being used, spot 2 threats, or adding a threat to play a fortification from your draw deck, getting lots and lots of fortifications out here, but no men.
Yeah, going for the Vitality ones, though. It's going to help a lot if Castamere hits the ground again.
For sure, and with Gondor Bow on both of these, although Gondor Bow only cares... No, never mind. The ability.
Yeah, as long as they've got a fortification.
Yeah.
Oh, Isildur doesn't get the +1.
Right, because
he makes knights better, but he's not a knight.
Right. Here we go, Castamere coming out with another halberd. It's feasible to take him out.
Yep.
Although, the amount of exertions they're going to have to do for this, so it's 3 exertions to get these out.
Well, if he uses the 2 to get out the Stone Tower and the Gondor Bow, I suppose that's still 3 exertions, but he only has to lose one of... Oh! Or he just...
Wait a minute, what?
Oh, wait, what just happened?
So he exerted 2 men to put the...
Oh.
Okay.
He's keeping the... Yep.
But because of the... Yeah, alright, that was a little bit of a weird interaction, but it worked out in the end. Took him out and only had 1 exertion. Although 6th level is going to add more exertions to recycle that 4th level.
Bring that 4th level right back.
Yeah. Forgot about that combo. Yeah, with the exhausting the minion on the 4th level. That's an instant combo with Gondor Bow. Don't even have to worry about the minus vitality insta-kills.
Yeah, he's going to run out of vitality real quick trying to keep doing that, though.
Yeah. With only the 1
that garrison of Gondor can't self-heal, yeah. If you've got 3 knights, that's really strong. And Kea again.
Played from hand this time. And a rather unfortunate number of bent on discoveries here, although Eowyn's exhausted.
Yeah, so, he can shoulder to shoulder to bring... Oh, quick as may be. And then we're going to see a green leaf.
Yeah, just from the regular archery. Doesn't even have to...
If he's got another All Blades Perish? No.
There it goes. That poor Nquea trying over and over and over again and just getting nowhere with it.
I don't want to root for one player to win, but at this point I do want to see that Nkea survived the regroup phase just once. And I feel like he deserves it.
And the thing about this too is that Nkea is kind of a toxic. Like, I hate it when it works, but I hate seeing it so completely smacked down like this too. Like, it's kind of just in general kind of a crap sandwich. There's no upside.
Yeah, I think it's a lot less about that it's okay. It's just hard to watch when one side, we've all been there, right? Just absolutely getting crushed. Like, my shadow has no chance this game.
Yeah.
Great. The game is, for how old it is, I know the PC has made a lot of errata, but for reasonably how little there's been changes, there's a lot of options on what to play that generally works. But once in a while, you just get that matchup where, whether it's because they got set up too early or because you didn't get the right thing, you discarded the wrong card with a Dwarven Axe or whatever it was, that just, you're never gonna make anything work, and that, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah. So with
But
three
we've
more,
got Aragorn.
we got Aragorn out, and 2 fortifications and a sapling of the white tree. Got a bow and a banner onto Aragorn. What? Oh no, moved the bow over from Garrison of Gondor.
Oh, interesting. Not from Isildur. I suppose that makes sense. Isildur's got the vitality to spare.
Yeah. Once again, Halberd on Castamere. We've got these black ships all loaded up. We have the 6 tokens for Ships of Great Drought, or I'm sorry, Corsair War Galley, so that Shadow always has initiative. Although 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah. Fifth level going out. Bear strength -1 for each fortification, so he's now easily overwhelmed by anybody.
Well, good chance that he's going to be doubled up with somebody there.
True.
But he's got the Stone Tower and Citadel of the Stars, so that double up might not last for long.
Black Númenórean's going to be able to get rid of a Gondor bow if put up against that. Other than that, none of the initiative things really matter. Oh, and the Sun's Garrison is... So I'm surprised they didn't do Stone Tower on Castamere here.
Yeah, the 4th level going out, he doesn't have a bow on him anymore. Must have an event.
I mean, he could do Citadel. He's still got options
That's
here.
true.
I don't think he can afford to sacrifice Garrison.
No, I don't think so either. Citadel of the Stars is coming out.
Yeah. And then it's a very easy...
Yeah, he'll win against the Lookout, and... Ooh, maybe not.
When the sped ship's coming out, make a Corsair strength +1 for each token you can spot, limit +6, and then he puts it back on top of his deck. So Garrison of Osgiliath being used to pump him back all the way up to 12.
Do we have anything else on the Corsair side? No.
But then Banner of Westernessy lets him heal another companion. All these exertions, he's right on the edge of having that 3rd knight to make most of these free, but...
Yeah, that losing 2 knights on site 2 is... I don't know how many he's running in the deck, but that likely is going a long way towards him struggling to get this setup going.
So Gondor Bow was removed, making him no longer strength +1. Getting rid of the Banner of Westernessy.
It's no longer guaranteed initiative, but that will probably change.
Yeah, it'll only take a couple of Corsairs being played, I think, to bring that right back up. Why does he still have... Oh, he has initiative the old-fashioned way.
Yep.
Oh, that sucks. Well, they have been stripped bare.
1 banner, 3 companions.
All exhausted.
Yeah.
Don't have the vitality to pull back any of those very important fortifications back into play. Oh, and of course, 2 of them are fierce. This might...
Well, he's got the banner still here.
Okay, yeah. So Garrison wins, heals Aragorn, keeps Aragorn from dying.
Not if he gets rid of the banner, because he's still got initiative the old-fashioned way. Yep.
Oh man, yeah. That stinks. That could have worked, but alas.
Does he have anything?
No. Hang on. He's got sapling.
Oh.
Okay, so that's so either way.
Yep. He's made it through.
And that was Site 5. That was one of the scarier roadblocks. If he can make it to the
Yeah,
sixth
it hurts to
circle.
have to stop at Site 5 when your opponent's at Site 6, but he'll probably be okay to walk forward next turn.
Yeah. Awen and Greenleaf brought all the way back up. And just to add insult to injury, we'll heal Sam here a little bit. So even if you do manage to get your Inquia bomb off, it's going to be one less burden than you're hoping. Another copy
That's not the Galadriel I thought it was. I expected her to be healing the whole suite of elves. Playing forests.
Nope. So, if any of these guys survive, there's 6 companions on the table. They could force a double move.
They could.
So it might be time to sacrifice Sam just to make sure that that's not an option. Uh-oh.
It's a decent chance here if Legolas starts shooting. Alright, healing Gimli.
Okay, there goes Tiltea.
Oh my goodness.
There goes Lamenya. And then Eowyn takes this one out.
Yeah.
Because you got the archery coming from Greenleaf, and then Eowyn's ability once again. Oh, don't even need that.
Discarding the hand axe.
We're just gonna conk him on the head with an axe.
Saving the exertions, which is probably wise. Eowyn doesn't have any way of healing on the table right now, so her 2 vitality may well be all that he's got left until the end of the game.
And then TMS. And then TMSS. He just concedes. I was about to say, I wonder if he's going to add insult to injury and double move anyway. Like, you don't have anything to to hurt me with. And yeah, I think that.
You know what though? Like a double move there, he's not far enough ahead that if TMS pulled out, 3 companion drop and could just double pass the site, like. You could be kicking yourself pretty hard for not having taken the easy step to 8.
Yeah.
If it let him catch up and it meant that now you were forced to double to 9 to have secure victory. Not that he was struggling terribly hard here, but I've definitely done that. I've been like, yeah, I am safe. I don't need to do anything. And then my opponent pulls off something I wasn't expecting, and they can catch right up. And now I'm scrambling for later sites when I probably could have had an easy step early.
Yeah. All right, well, jumping into a classic fellowship block, we've got Botnik, who is also one of the World Championship invitees, versus Lauren. Botnik appears to be playing Gandalf deck using Gandalf's cart from Shire Lookout Point. And it doesn't look like... That's rough. Were no Nazgul played? Was that just a nuts hand on the case of a Lauren, wasting both Bree Streets and Fort of Brunnen? That's very unfortunate. But then Aloran starts his own fellowship, and we've got Friend of the Shirefolk coming out, and it looks like this is very much a pipeweed deck.
Love to see it.
Over here we've got the original Flame.
Ooh, Eisenorks.
Yeah, Eisenorks. Legolas says, no, you're not.
Well, if he's going to exhaust somebody, you may as well choose who it's going to be.
True. And let's be honest, it probably would have been Greenleaf anyway.
Likely, yeah. Though maybe depending on who the skirmish was against. 3 wounds on Gandalf if he'd skirmished Gimli is not a bad choice.
So we've got a Servant of the Secret Fire, Isengard's Shaman, Isengard Retainer, another Servant, Isengard Smith, always a dangerous one, a Worker, and a Retainer in Botnik's hand. Goes ahead and doubles with that Exhausted Overseer in play.
We get an axe.
Axe to get just a little bit more, but on site 3, some of these guys are a little more expensive. Probably not.
Yeah, the axe means he has to fight Gandalf reasonably.
Blocks the arrow from Legolas using the ability to drain some of that useless Twilight. Gimli takes him out, no problem, and then yeah, you end up with a wound on Gandalf, which is just enough to put you over the 5 wound threshold meaning that 5 of these are going to get wiped away, probably the 2 on Gandalf, 2 on Legolas, and 1 on Frodo.
Yeah, but you're playing Pipeweed, so the 1 on Frodo can get shifted over to Gandalf if you draw another Friend of the Shire folk. If you pull an Aragorn's Pipe or a Frodo's Pipe by Site 4, you're probably going to be able to clean up.
So Botnik running out here to Site 4, a bunch of Aragorn's kit on the cart, but no Aragorn to be seen. Tildea coming
Interesting choice. Oh. Nope. Not an interesting choice. That's just me not paying attention to which side is facing the shadow.
out.
It's like he's exhausting Tildea, but Greenleaf's on the field. He is not.
Yeah, I really need to. One of the things that I want to do is come in and add some CSS to make it so that the cards that are not currently active get grayed out.
Yeah, that would be a nice.
Unfortunately, the thing that that has stopped me from doing that is that these cards do not have any indicator of what their owner is or anything. They're just kind of rectangles on the screen. So I don't have any way of just saying, hey, make all the inactive cards gray. I have to go in and add the code that inspects it and says, hey, which side owns this? Is it active? Is it not? I have to do all that. And just like you mentioned, an extra friend of the Shire folk getting discarded. 2 pipes finally in play, Gandalf's pipe and Frodo's pipe, and Gimli's pipe, why not?
Is that Long Knives?
Long Knives on Legolas.
Interesting. Great card, just not one I commonly see in this deck.
And it's not often that you want to pair that with Greenleaf, because Greenleaf doesn't really want to skirmish.
Right.
Although I guess with that ability, that does let him get into those skirmishes without getting punked. In those situations where you're backed against the wall.
Yeah, it makes him effectively a 9 against most shadows. This is Fellowship block, so it's only Nazgul that he'll continue to be lower against.
Now, this is a strange... Who owns this chasm? This is owned by Aloran, but Aloran was playing Nazgul.
Huh.
That's an odd choice.
Just maybe one... It is the highest Twilight for a Site 4 at 4 points.
Fair. That could be all that the only consideration put into it.
Right. If you don't care about the burden and you don't have any need to pull a weather event or make Urukai not roaming.
Granted, the burden would have put him in range of Tildea being activated here, but...
That's true.
Okay, so we have Servant of the Eye coming out. We have the old No Business of Ours. So now that sting can no longer be used.
Yeah, that Servant of the Eye is going to very quickly make those long knives very valuable, though.
True.
I'm surprised he's putting him on Legolas.
Yeah, the one guy that actually is kind of okay with this.
Right, yeah. Gimli would have been the obvious choice. At least you get the exertion for Gimli to be able to win that skirmish. Oh, okay, there we go. Get the extra wound. Probably exert to inflict 1 more.
Probably put it on, on Frodo. That good old pincushion.
Yeah, no Aragorn or his pipe, so Frodo's pipe also makes sense to just pile wounds onto the ring bearer here.
Yeah, especially since he's got that Frodo signet, so...
Yeah, so you can remove them 3 at a time. Okay, if you're either not running Son of Drogo or you've got Aragorn and his pipe out, it might make more sense to spread them.
All sorts of Aragorn's kit going up here, but no Aragorn. We do have.
He's going to come out strong when he comes out.
Yeah, he's going to drop and he's going to immediately get loaded all the way up. 2 smiths, so that Glamdring and that sword are definitely...
There's good targets for it. Gandalf can take one of them down to 0. But I suspect the other one's going to be able to discard at least Glamdring, maybe both. Depending on how he plays Merry here.
Yeah, I think I think the safest play, I was about to say that, put Nortea on Mary, and then, yeah, like you said, exhaust that Smith.
Yeah. Mary's going to lose, but not be overwhelmed. And then if you use Mary's ability, that Smith only has 1 exertion to discard. I'm going to guess it's Glamdring, but the Hobbit Sword's not a terrible choice.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, may as well. Gets rid of the ability for him to spy on the hand. Makes it so that Gandalf doesn't have that damage bonus anymore on these.
I think that damage bonus is against Eisenorks. Damage +1 is huge until you have. There's a condition that stops it. I can't remember the name of right now.
Yeah. Mithril Coat, Hand Axe, and Gandalf's Staff coming out just in time for Site 5.
That Gandalf Staff might absolutely save him at Site 5 here. We didn't see a Balrog against him here, but
Classic.
I mean, Balrog's a strong play against the
smoking
setup.
away the pain.
I'm a little surprised he used one to clean up Greenleaf. Maybe I shouldn't be, but
I mean, those are the first uses of the pipes that he's used at all. So that's 2 of his 8 total pipe weeds.
If he's running all 8.
Right.
I feel like you always start there, and then it's really easy to be like, well, really got to drop a card. Maybe I only run 3 Longbottom Leafs.
Don't quite have 5 companions in play. But this... Oh no, it only discards weapons. So... Long Knives and Hand Axe are the only actual target. And Sting, I guess. Sting is a good...
Sting's... He's got no business of ours, so Sting's less effective.
Yeah, but in spite of that, getting the +2 strength off of Frodo is always... Oh, here we go. Saruman
That's true.
Stones.
Oh, is that the no skirmish events?
Yep.
It is.
So no stealthing your way out of this. And, hang on, is this skirmish special abilities, so you can't use Gandalf's staff either. Not that it really matters in this case, I think.
Yeah,
Still.
Exhaust the Smith.
So Sting is going to stay in play.
Yeah.
Now, this does put Legolas in range of getting killed, I think. Overseer, well, okay. Of course, Free Peoples gets to assign. So
right, they're not,
you put them
not
on.
directed.
Yeah.
But the Overseer's likely going to exhaust Gandalf, would be my guess.
Oh, yeah.
Just from the count, if nothing else. And the Servant probably is going to lose to Legolas? Or to Gandalf?
I think you may as well put the Smith on Legolas, because he's going to be the bigger strength, and then... Well, if you don't have any... Actually, maybe put the Servant on Frodo, and then put the Smith on Greenleaf, and then Overseer... Huh.
I think you definitely put Overseer on Gandalf, because the Overseer is going to exhaust Gandalf regardless. He may as well take the wound.
Exactly.
Killing the Smith versus exhausting the Servant is a good question. It depends on how much you think you might jump. You know, if he's planning to run.
So... All right.
Oh, interesting.
Overseer against Gimli. That may have been a mistake. Because now you put the extra wound on Gimli and you get the exhausting on Gandalf. So that was an unnecessary wound. Could have been one of those wounds on Gandalf and then the 3 from the exhausting.
That would have been my thought too.
I think that's just a misplay, but I guess we'll see. Okay. Now we're flipping back over to Botnik.
Gandalf's staff
and here's Aragorn. All right,
with a sword, a bow, a flaming bread, and some armor.
Yep, here he goes.
He's a sight light to be able to fight off the Balrog, but it's all right.
Karas Galathon. So swarms won't matter. Not really that Nazgul are going to swarm him anyway, but 14 Twilight though is nothing to sneeze at. Especially on a site that you're not normally expecting to see a whole lot of Twilight at. But Aragorn had to get all his goodies out.
Skulker coming in at only 2 could actually mean that site matters.
So that's an odd... We haven't yet seen any Twilight Nazgul. And it would not be a good idea for him to exert on himself, especially not in this situation where Aragorn can just... there we go.
There's
So
a Twilight
Nelia.
Nazgul. Though he's fierce anyway.
So he doesn't need it. Still 5 left, so you could have another decently sized Nazgul come out. In which case, I'll see it might matter.
Cantea would be a great play here against Aragorn.
Oh yeah, you've got all your goodies, do you?
Oh, interesting.
Oh well, and
are we gonna see a? What was that?
What was that? They will never stop hunting you. Oh, exert a companion X times or X the Twilight cost of this. Oh, okay. Let's see. So
he got 3. He
Isaac
actually got 4.
Smith got revealed, and so wow. Okay.
And he just shuffled. I know it's shuffled into his hand. He probably doesn't have it in his hand, but he just put a Relentless Charge back in his deck. Aragorn's an archer. He could just be gunning for him here.
That was wow. That was incredibly lucky, I think. Oh wow, Aragorn's out and he's already tripped and fallen on his face here. This is now because
so
of the
warrior
brand, and this is the OG flaming brand, so it's automatic. Like he's not. Actually
he's just
in
a 13
danger.
damage +1. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's absolutely gonna smack Nelia in the face. No. What on earth?
What? I'm so confused. I mean, if Frodo had 3 wounds on him, I'd understand, but...
Or, okay, wait a minute. Maybe he was overly worried about Isengard Warrior making it out. Exert this minion spot 3 wounds on the ring bearer, not 3 burdens. Never mind. Yeah, I don't get that at all.
I mean, the play of the Warrior does make me think that maybe he just hasn't pulled his Twilight Witch King and Kea here, because it's a nice combination. You use the Witch King to wound up Frodo, and then you just exhaust the Fellowship.
Yeah, what on earth? I don't understand that. Maybe he intentionally sacrificed Merry, but you're at the sanctuary now. Although now
he's got 5 wounds still. Yeah,
there's your 5 wounds. Maybe he just decided that it was time for Merry to go. Yeah, I don't know about that.
I would love to interview him after this game. Understand the decision there.
And here we now have a loaded up Gimli and a loaded up Legolas, who's going to be not only able to use his own built-in ability, but with both Galadriel and Log Knives against Eisenorcs.
Oh, that's a scary Legolas against Eisenorcs.
Yeah, he's very well going to be able to mow his way through.
Yeah, got rid of 6 total? No, 5 total wounds with some old Toby.
And given that it is Eisenorcs, he may very well need all of these, all this healing. The Sanctuary is going to take care of him, but...
Yeah, I think we established already he has potentially as many as 4 Pipeweed left in that deck.
Yeah.
Honestly, depending on what's played here, this might be a good point to try to jump through. If you can get ahead and you don't need to stop at the Sanctuary with Pipeweed, but it really depends on how likely he thinks he's going to draw more Pipeweed before his next turn.
So there's the green leaf block. Can't use the ability. Takes the wound. There's not yet enough wounds on Frodo for the other ability to matter.
Yeah, Gimli's damage plus enough to take care of the Smith if he doesn't have a boost.
Mm-hmm.
And the bow could put a wound on the Smith if he does have a boost. And
I think Legolas is going to go for... Oh, okay. I was going to say
this makes sense.
Maybe do it on the servant. Yeah. Between the bow of the Galadriel and Gimli's battle axe, there's not going to be any extra vitality left.
Right.
Pop.
And he'd need 2 boosts here to stop the Smith from having no vitality.
Well, actually, so Gandalf is going to beat him just natively. Oh, interesting. Right. Okay.
But if he's got 2 boosts, then the servant doesn't necessarily lose to Gimli.
Ooh, okay.
Nope.
If he had 2, that would have been a dead Gimli. Well, no, he had Gimli's helm, but... Yeah,
right.
There that goes. Okay, so it's not a clean sweep as it would have been if he hadn't needed to... Or wait a minute. Did Battle Axe not come into play?
No, it did. He put the second
Okay.
wound on the Smith, and then Gandalf won, taking care of the Smith. I am really surprised he stopped there.
I think he's overly nervous about the fact that he's got no Pipeweed in play at the moment. So he's got
That is a fair thing to be nervous about. But man, do you change kind of the pressure on your opponent if you're ahead like that.
Yeah. And it's always a flex to skip a Sanctuary and say, you know what? I don't need 5 heals. All right, Boromir coming out.
Well equipped.
Barlaam Butterbear coming out, probably pulling out. Yep, another Servant of the Sacred Fire. Why wouldn't you? Okay, Anduin Wildland coming out, so that bow is once again not going to be used.
That's Aloran's Site 7. I'm surprised, running a Greenleaf heavy Fellowship, that he's also using the Wilderland.
There's not a whole lot of 7s that are actually to your benefit. I think it's because of some of the there's some text on some of the elves that allow you to play stuff that they make sure that there are good and very, very bad Site 7s, but even the good Site 7s are just not as terrible.
Not as bad. Yeah, Kentea is going to be able to do some damage here.
Yep, there goes the Flaming Brand. There goes the... Well, do you bother with Aragorn's bow?
I'm betting he does the sword.
Yeah. I would do the sword, because he's got a second bow, so even if you get rid of it, like...
He's also cycled Relentless Charge back into his deck, keeping him an archer, makes him a target.
Yeah, it's actually to your benefit, yeah.
It's our second Astea, though, and we still haven't seen a Nazgul that really benefits from Astea.
Yeah, it's been bad luck. Haven't had the Twilight Enquia or the Twilight Witch King, which would both really love to be made fierce.
Absolutely. Does Botanic go? No.
Nope.
This is very cordial.
He's I definitely think that he should double move from 7 to 9. The Nazgul have not really come together, and he's in a fairly good state.
Yep, I think that makes sense. And if he double moved there, it would have forced the double from Orion, which whether he can pull it off or not is a question. But there is the opportunity that it stops him and gives him another chance as a Fellowship player.
Yeah.
I'm never sure what the right call with those is, but it's what goes through my mind. We saw Bracers come into play, and not much else.
11 Twilight for the Eisen Orcs. Let's see what we get. Okay, Orc Commander coming out, plus... Okay, Servant of the Eye and the Shaman. So, who's he going to sign?
No archery.
Gandalf, probably,
I've got to think
right?
I would have thought Greenleaf.
Greenleaf is going to be able to beat him with the...
No, he'll be a 9 to 8.
Okay, 9 to 8. Yeah, you're right. 11 to 9 is even better, especially because his only way out is Gandalf's staff, which is just to your benefit.
That's true.
So he's not
2 wounds.
Although there might be no reason to not have Servant of the Secret Fire or something hiding away in your hand, but...
Yeah, that wouldn't have mattered who he's putting against, though.
That's true.
Would have worked equally well against anyone. Is he going to try to assign the Shaman? I don't know that there's any reason to.
Well, yeah, especially since he loses in every situation that he goes against, except Frodo, but you can't do it against Frodo. And either of these guys winning is an extra wound here on Orc Commander.
Yeah, if he puts the Shaman on Legless, though, the Shaman probably is still alive to help with the double.
True. Although you also put Saruman into a position where he's no longer much of a threat because you only get a single assignment from him on Site 8.
Right.
I think it's really the balance of, do you want to keep the Shaman alive or do you want to keep Saruman's Vitality available? Looks like he goes for Saruman's Vitality. He gets misted. We get that extra wound over here on the Orc Commander.
Yeah, Gandalf loses and Orc Commander's going to dish out a couple more. But they'll probably just go on Frodo at this point.
Yeah. No reason not to.
Although, he might actually not... With Greenleaf on the table, if he's trying to stop a double more than he's trying to somehow get ahead, might be worth leaving him with 3 vitality.
That's true.
Nope, he's going for it.
Was that a reaction pause? It is. He's got an Intimidate in his hand.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, here comes that double. 13 Twilight. Exhausted or Commander. Unless he gets a, whatchamacallit, a Smith out or something. He's not going to be able to... no, not the Smith, the other guy.
No, he needs the Warrior.
Yeah, so that's Green Knife is definitely going to take him out. No Aragorn to exhaust with, can you protect me from yourself? Although, why you wouldn't take the 2 burdens, I don't know.
Yeah.
There goes, pop. Neither of these are going to get anything done.
No. I mean, if he lets you assign them to Gandalf and Legolas respectively. No, Smith's an 8. He was a 9 for a minute there because the commander was still in play.
Yeah.
There's nothing happening here.
Nope. And I guess you may as well use your ability.
I mean, I suppose there's no reason not to. He didn't play Durin's Secret, and I don't think there's any way of getting an extra movement here.
He gets an exertion out of it.
But why?
Yeah, why indeed?
I'm confused by that. Maybe he doesn't realize the Bow of Galadrim can hit the minion he just beat?
Yeah, so it's extremely flexible. It's not like Gimli's Battle Axe where you have to do it against another minion.
Right. Well, the Battle Axe can still work against the same guy, just usually the guy's already dead from his being damaged.
Fair. Yeah, okay, that's right. So this one only works against an orc, and Bow of the Galadrim works against any minion. But yeah, both of them can stack.
Yeah, Bow of the Galadrim is just a bonkers good card, balanced by the fact that it's not on a great skirmisher.
Yeah.
You know, if you could put that on Gimli or on Aragorn, it would be crazy. Hey, trapped and alone.
Finally gets that out. No more damage bonuses. Atia takes out Butterbird now that he was.
Oh, it's still Atia. Yeah.
Oh, and he wounded him. Okay, yeah. So that's a dead Butterbird, not coming back. Kentea coming out, threatening the Flaming Brand and the bow. And since this is on 8, it could actually be a legitimate threat to take out the bow because you're not going to have another chance to put it back on unless you stop, which would be good.
That is true.
So...
it definitely doesn't want to put Kentea against Boromir.
Right.
Blade and Brand are in range. I think that's the third one of those we've seen. This deck was prepared for allies.
Yeah, honestly, maybe a bit too prepared. Like, even in cases where you do have a lot of allies, you kind of want to wait for them to wear themselves down and then...
Yep.
Well, okay, maybe it's actually because he doesn't have the Anduin Confluence that would nuke them all.
Maybe. It's always hard to tell if there's something like in particular that the opponent or that the deck builder is worried about. You know, if they played this enough times and a particular combination of, Elrond and Bilbo's just been too much of a headache, it's time to make sure they go.
Yeah. Kentea going safely up against the Grey Pilgrim.
And running to the wastes of Emimule.
Wait a minute, what?
That's not the Witch King I expected. This is a very interesting
wait a minute.
shadow here.
What the heck?
Did he Pathfinder?
No. Wait, yeah, Trapped and Alone went on the wrong guy.
I mean, he's had
It's
a warrior played.
It's Botnik that was playing the Eisenorks.
The,
What the
right.
heck?
Alarin had a Isengard warrior early on that he used to play the weather event.
Yeah.
So maybe he's running a bunch of them, and this is kind of a last-ditch effort to make them worthwhile. That strikes me as odd. It's a big Witch King.
Nothing to really use the Pale Blade on in this situation.
No, I mean, this is a great shadow play. It's just not one that you want at Site 9. If he could have pulled this off earlier.
And that's always the problem with Nazgul, right? Is that they shine on sites 2 and 3, which he completely whiffed and played no Nazgul on those two sites. And then they don't really, you don't have enough Twilight to play all of them until sites 8 or 9. And if you don't have enough to stomp them out, then nothing.
Yeah.
Look at all these private PC matches. We've got the Faker and Lucas Shore. We've got, well, none of these guys are WC.
Yeah, Faker and Lucas are maybe.
But yeah, these two are invited. None of the others. Well, let's go ahead and hop into this movie block then. So what have we got? We got Lump up top, and we have Via Fasula down bottom. Via Fasula doing Elves and Leader of Men against Bowman.
Yeah, it's another maneuver wound deck. Elves are in here maybe for extra bows? Or maybe Eowyn's a throw-in because there's a Legolas.
Desert Lord stacked up with 2 season leaders, letting him exert 4 different companions at will.
Can't be enduring twice, unfortunately, for him.
Yeah. Although that's one of the things that I've considered trying to do a push for, is changing enduring to be a numeric keyword.
I could see having... I think he'd be a little bit tricky for how it starts. You know, if everybody was enduring, that's enduring today, was enduring 2.
Mm-hmm.
Cards like Season Leader, I think making them enduring +2 would be too much. But making them enduring +1 would be a nerf kind of as part of that rework. Not a criticism for the idea. I think it's a fantastic one. Just there'd be some delicateness there.
Yeah, we would definitely have to figure out what exactly the balance is for those.
Oh, but boy, would I love an enduring 3 Shelob.
And having the ability to go in and say, okay, this particular character is too much with enduring 2, it should be enduring 1, and others being like, okay, we have these smaller guys, it's okay to make them enduring 3 or enduring 4.
Oh, totally. You know, have somebody who only has 2 wounds have enduring 3.
Yeah. Why
not? You know, like, don't shoot him. I can see that being fun.
Okay, so over here on Lump's side, we have the Ent Horde. Looks like only 1 Ent has fallen so far.
Given that it's Leader of Men, it was, I'm guessing, to himself.
Yeah, yep, yes. It must have started with a Forest Guardian and Leader of Men. Glamdring and Gandalf's staff on Gandalf himself, and then you have the classic Linden Root for cycling, even if you don't actually use them to skirmish. And then the other Ents are all not unhasty.
Skinbark and Linden Root both being in play, I wonder if he is running an Unbound Hobbit or 2 as support in here. I feel like they just get that much stronger if there's a Friend of Sam or something to help protect.
For sure. Unhasty is one of those keywords that I feel like it's been a... Oh, here we go. We have a Save in the Fire coming in. Sacrificing the already exhausted...
Taking some threat wounds. That probably
Ouch.
means there's not an Unbound Hobbit that he's looking to protect. He just happened to have that as one of his extra ents.
That's an expensive save from the fire. I wonder if he realized that he had 3 threat wounds. I know that's the kind of thing I would miss and be like, oh crap, I just paid a companion and 3 wounds for 3 cards.
Well, I've definitely done it. I'm trying to scroll back. I'm wondering if he inflicted those threats himself. No, it doesn't go back far enough. So they were there when we jumped in, and the chat doesn't load from before.
So pulled out Narya, Deep in Thought, and Terrible and Evil. So not even replacing the companion, which I guess is fair. You know,
Yeah, keeping himself at 5.
Servant of the Sacred Fire pulled into his hand. So he's got Servant and Terrible and Evil. And there was another one, wasn't there?
Yeah,
Deep in Thought.
Deep in Thought, which he's going against an Orc grind, so that's going to be...
That definitely makes sense. Yeah, gotta make sure that none of those conditions...
I'm honestly a little surprised that he didn't leave Barlaman to pull that back. Though it was a Deep in Thought, not a sleep, so it's not necessarily easy to play.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't have another maneuver event to generate those Twilight.
And so we have these scouting bands that don't mind so much that they're getting stomped flat by Ents because they're still going to get a wound out of it.
Yeah, they're also trackers, so if he needs another one out there for Under the Watching Eye.
Oh, and here comes the Desert Lord.
Desert Lord amazes me that there's no culture enforcement. Like, he's just so good.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. No restrictions at all. Just, hey, I get to put 2 exertions anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, and 6 points for an 11 strength archer is something we see on other... I mean, the Orthanc... Is it Orthanc Champion? Whatever the non-Lurtz Uruk-hai archer from Fellowship block is. Like, he's, I think, 5 points for this strength. Desert Lord's ability is definitely worth more than a point.
He just did Terrible and Evil on Scouting Band. Was that a misclick?
He did what?
He did Terrible and Evil on Scouting Band. So he exerted Gandalf once and then exerted Scouting Band once. Now, he only had 1 spare vitality.
I wonder if he's making sure that Gandalf can skirmish somebody without dying.
That might be fair. Although, I feel like you could have just not played Terrible and Evil and taken the wound and then killed the orc. Like, I don't know.
Well, I was a little bit behind and I was chatting, so I may have missed it. But I wonder if did the Desert Lord still have vitality left? Could the Desert Lord have exhausted Gandalf before that happened?
In that case, why not do it on Desert Lord and save yourself an exertion on another place? But he didn't do that. So yeah, I'm confused. But whatever. I mean, he made it out. Nobody's dead yet. Lots of wounds are piling up, though.
But he's at 6. He'll clear 5 of those next turn, and he's well ahead at the moment, so
yeah,
probably not
looking pretty good.
Too worried. There was only a couple of shadow conditions there, but clearing them against grind is as often as you can is well worth it.
Is that an Elven Bow on Greenleaf? What are you doing? Put that over on Glorfindel.
Wild.
Greenleaf doesn't need it. He isn't. Oh my goodness. That must be an oversight, not realizing that.
Yep.
We've got another elf over there, yo.
I'm sure he's just confident. 3 arrows is enough.
Ouch. Okay, so 3 exertions on Gandalf, making sure that that Desert Lord didn't get to exert 2 people and win a skirmish. So.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty wounded up. That's not a terrible plan. Though there's enough archery that these guys are just gonna get murdered here.
Mm-hmm.
Moving seems risky, but he also doesn't want to fall behind the sanctuary hit.
Oh, yeah.
Nope, he's staying. I would be terrified of Ankea in this position.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the 6. Oh, man.
Yeah, you're going to exhaust my last companion and kill whoever you want.
Four heals on Gandalf and 1 on Treebeard.
Barlaman heals up.
So what's he going to pull? Surely he just pulls something right now.
Yeah, Servant right now, or hold it to grab another...
I mean, now that you're
board
finally
wipe?
healed up, you may as well get that Terrible and Evil back. Oh boy, here we go. Another Servant of the Secret Fire.
All right, he's got to be pulling the last end, right? The army?
He might...
Or the horde. Yep,
Yeah,
there it
we
is.
go. And 2
Double
copies
half
of
patience. Okay. Not a bad play given the board state. He's going to walk almost full healed. He's flooding that pool.
Okay, yeah, he's on site 6. Okay, I was like, wait a minute, you're on Stewards 2. What are you doing? But no, that's not it. That's that would have been an oversight and a half. But
yes, I have done that. Not with Have Patience in particular, but I've been very confused before with Steward's Tomb. I love that Gemp does those enforcements for you, but it would be nice sometimes if it was like didn't work because of, rather than you just hunting around trying to find it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we got a tracker, a troll, more bowmen.
For each possession you can spot, both Sting and Glamdringer out, so he's boosted up to 16.
And K up at only 5.
Yeah, so he did well keeping everything right at that 5 limit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's only one more companion he can play.
Maybe Quick Beam, maybe Sam.
Wasn't Quick Beam one of the ones that he burned?
Oh, was it?
Nope. You're right. Quick Beam could. And so not particularly afraid of these big giant everythings.
They'll take some hits, but they've got the vitality for it.
Yep. May as well Gandalf staff your way out if it's going to be up against a damage +1 person. Don't give an option to play any skirmish events, just in case.
Toss a couple of cards to heal Gandalf up. 12 Twilight still on the field. You probably don't double with all of that out. Guessing he's going to stop there.
Got rid of a War Towers, and another copy is saved from the fire, because, yeah, he doesn't really have anybody that's fodder anymore.
No, I don't think there's a single Gandalf companion he might have that he would want to trade for.
Well, he could, in theory, have more Forest Guardians or something in there, like play him and then burn him.
Well, right, but you definitely wouldn't kill Treebird, Host, or Horde for a Forest Guardian.
Yeah. Oh, to pull with the... Yeah,
yeah. If you had both in hand, you might hold them, drop it, and then grab your Enraged or whatever.
Good evening, Botnik. Sorry I didn't see your chat, but yeah, we were just watching your match that you played a little bit ago.
Gimli got stacked up. Celeborn came out.
Quite a few elves.
He can get just 1 kill with what he's pulling off. 6 threats is going to wreck this field.
Oh, yeah. Oh, cow. Yeah, that's that's dangerous. That's living dangerously. We're at Kazad, but then doesn't have a follow-up. War Towers added another threat. Now it's at 7. Add an additional threat for each companion over 4. Yeah, okay, that just pumped it all the way up.
The Southern archers aren't great at killing during the archery phase. Like, you either need one of the events that lets you wound during a skirmish, or you need somebody big enough to win a skirmish. But if he can make just 1 kill here,
that's going to be
he's really changing the board state. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, they're all gone.
And he's at site 6. It's got the...
Elrond. Desperately healing from the ring bearer. Okay, I mean, I guess that... Can't save
There's
anybody else.
so
You're all
many
dead
wounds
anyway,
on the
so...
field. Right.
We'll
The
do it
only
on the
one
one
that
guy
truly
that has to
matters.
stay alive, yeah.
Alright. Healing Barlaman again. Grabbing
Pulls
another
out
half patience.
Yeah, he's just trying to be as efficient as possible, I think, with those wounds.
Yeah.
No threats on the table, so don't have to worry about the ability on the site just yet. 16 Twilight.
19 if you use the Ithelstone.
Yeah. This could definitely be a fight if we see some trolls come out. I think he's still got a card in hand to, like another Deep in Thought that he pulled earlier. Orc Cutthroat and the Troll of Kirith Gorvar doesn't pull the Ithelstone just yet. There's still another Site 9 where you can draw another card with it and then use it then. Troll's gonna get 4 wounds somewhere.
Yeah.
Cutthroat doesn't get to quite use his ability.
Well, the Cutthroat is going to trigger those 2 Orc Bowmen. He's getting your 3 Orc Bowmen.
Okay, well.
Oh, no, he's not.
I mean, still had 3 wounds come out, but guess you get to pick where they go. I don't know. It seems like with the Ent Horde, maybe... I don't know that I like that particular choice, but it does get the card out of his hand, I suppose.
Yeah. If it had been followed up by a half patience, it would, or not a half patience, a Deep in Thought, it would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah, but now those 3 are still on the board, and they're almost certainly going to come into play for the Site 9. And now he's not really in a position to move.
I mean, he doesn't need to right now.
Fair.
You know, unless
his opponent can't catch up unless he throws a Radagast down at the last second. And this particular fellowship does not want to be moving all that much.
No. Yeah, Radagast during Secret would let him attempt that, but I don't think he can survive a triple. I mean, who knows what's in his hand? Maybe I'm wrong there, but those 7 threats have got to be just looming here.
Yeah, no, that's terrible. 3, 4,
he's gonna move
5,
the bow on
6,
Legolas.
7. All that healing that he's done, and he still only now would be able to absorb those 7 threats.
Yep.
Oh no. Let's see. Remove a threat or discard a card from hand to add a token here. Alright, well, remove 2 tokens to place a card. Well, I guess that's not too threatening.
Well, Desert Lord and Ankea, we're about to see those threats.
Oh no! Oh no!
And that Desert Lord may actually just be a regular archer right now.
Yeah, maybe. I mean...
those threats are going to exhaust the table.
Oh no, he's using the threats.
Why? Sorry.
I know. Like... Okay. Alright.
Yeah, finish off Greenleaf, Glorfindel.
Yeah, I would do Greenleaf, I think.
I think that would be my target too, but there's no wrong answers with that many threats.
6 threats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then someone dies. Who's it going to be? What? Did I miscount?
Gandalf.
Well.
Must have.
Okay, well, these guys are all going to get mowed down by that archery, I think, even with that. I mean...
the Desert Lord's arrow is going to kill somebody.
Yeah.
He didn't put the ring on. He couldn't. Well, he could have if he'd done it before.
Well, with the exertions, yeah, the fact that it cost an exertion to put it on.
Right.
Yeah, things are looking pretty dire. You've lost the biggest hitters of this deck. And
But
with
hey, he's
no,
now in no danger of a second in KO.
yeah, well, he'll just die
Right,
normally. He'll
right
just
side.
lose 2 people to KO. Like they can't survive the skirmish. Yeah, that.
All right. Oh, Tail of
Grown
the Great
suddenly
Ring.
tall, Tail of the Great Ring, and 3 threats. What have we got? That can't be it. If that's it, that's all.
That's it.
All right. Well, I think Lump is gonna walk out. Oh well. No, he's been keeping everyone healed up. Oh, here we
2
go.
hate.
Double hate takes out Treebeard. 3 threats going on the table. That's enough to make things spicy, but
Yeah, if
still
2 go
not
on
enough.
Frodo, then it means a 3rd hate doesn't kill anybody else.
Yeah, both players are calling GG. There's nothing
Yeah.
that Shadow can do anymore. That was a very nice play there at the end. That but not quite enough to do.
Yeah. Just too little, just too late.
Yeah.
8 Twilight left, and he's out of cards too.
Yeah.
Oh no, Lump's out of cards.
Lump is out of cards, but yeah, those 3 must have been all fellowship cards, and this is, a good attempt here, but yeah, not quite enough to make its way through the rest. Gosh dang it! All the PC games are private. I guess that one from between the Faker and Lucas Shore is still going. That was there before. Who else we got? We got Magion. He's a WC contender here.
Or
So Magion up at the top is playing Galadriel, Lady Redeemed. This is that one deck we saw before that had, like, I don't know what to call it, with Boromir, Son of Denethor, Slinker, Friend of Sam.
I don't know that I recognize this deck.
So
I see it's Shire Countryside, old school, so it's clearly a burden machine.
When I saw it earlier, the only things that it had on the table was the birthday present and didn't have anything else.
Okay.
So I didn't get to see what exactly it was doing.
Yeah, so it's going to be cycling something.
Yeah.
No idea what event he's going for right now. I can't. No, can I look at the discard pile? No,
you should be able to, but unfortunately, no. This is a regular movie, so no, it's not available. And there's actually a bug that I need to fix where if you reload the page or come in late, it doesn't backfill the discard pile, so you don't see things.
Oh, so you only see the things that you've seen discarded.
Yeah, which is not the way it's supposed to be, but I can't figure out why it's not doing it that way, or why it's not doing it correctly. I mean, like the dead pile and everything fell in fine, so I don't know what exactly is being done differently with the discard pile. Anyway, these Morgul brutes coming in and brutalizing the everything. Mary managed to make it out. Slinker can just start stacking up burdens to make sure that he makes it out. It looks like Boromir is about to get slaughtered by NK. Oh, it must have been Boromir.
I don't think Slinker can stack up burdens enough here.
Yeah, add burden to make Smeagol strength +2 and take no wounds, and so he could do that.
The brute then removes one to make himself strength +3. Oh, I suppose if he does a single burden, he'll be fine. But if he keeps trying to go, he'll eventually get.
I don't think that he can win this skirmish, but he can definitely keep himself from being overwhelmed.
Yep.
Magion is apparently seeing a way that he could have saved Boromir too late.
Unfortunate.
I'm not sure what way that is, unless it has to do with something in his hand. Oh, didn't see that. Yeah, Baggins Heirloom.
Yeah, I totally missed the Baggins Heirloom. It's hard jumping in partway through games, and the table state's just not quite what you expect it to be.
Yeah, I almost kind of wish that it would do like a fast forward or something instead of just plopping you on. But then again, that could also be really annoying if you're joining in late. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'd struggle to follow it anyway. I mean, if it's going to go fast enough to catch me up and not make me wait, 5 minutes to to get to what's going on.
So Boromir dies, 3 threat wounds come down. 2 on Galadriel, 1 on Smeagol. And then you've got the Fierce and Kea to deal with.
Add a couple of burdens to stay alive.
Yeah. A couple of burdens to stay alive and not take any wounds, so at the very least, you've got that. A little bit of vitality still left. And actually, come to think of it, he didn't have any burdens before, which meant that Shire Countryside wasn't doing him any good. So now he's got at least a little bit of fodder to heal off and try to...
Yeah, you need some way of adding those burdens if you're using a Shire Countryside deck.
Yeah.
And this is Decipher Countryside, where there is no limit to how many times per phase.
Nope.
As long as it's not a Hobbit's game text.
And down here we have the infamous Dauntless Hunter deck. A couple of Unbound Hobbits, and then Wingfoot in. This is for Tulkas Tuk, who's on site 4 now. We've got a Bounder in play, we got a Talent for Not Being Seen, we got a couple of Gondor Bowmen.
Yeah, running Bilbo and Friend to Frodo Pippin, I'm guessing we're going to see a bunch of...
well, actually, it might just be there for consorting with wizards, yeah?
It could be. Yeah, the escapes on them make me think that we're going to see the condition that makes them stronger for high vitality that I can't remember the name of.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
Okay, we got a Winged Sentry coming in. We have initiative. It's not the case right now. Under the Watching Eye
got
going
some
down,
grind coming through.
Black Breath on the table. But I think
bouncing something with Vilya.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't want to deal with that. Oh, doing a second one. So yeah, getting rid of the Bowman as well. Worry about the Under the Watching Eye later. It just came down this turn. It doesn't affect anything until next turn. Or next move at least. Grishnak not using his ability.
Yeah, there's no Twilight left for it, unless he needed something else.
I always feel like you may as well. Like, if he's going to die, then you may... Oh, yeah. Or maybe it was knowing that the the bowmen were going to come into play here. So now there's 7 arrows coming down. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4?
I think that's...
Yeah, he should have taken the draws, because then you could at least reconcile them away if you're not going to use them.
Yep. I wonder if he was just looking at the bow and didn't want a single exertion to take him out.
And actually, come to think of it, that Under the Watching Eye, oh man, being a grind deck against Dauntless Hunter.
That's hard.
That's rough. Dauntless Hunter is toxic, straight up. It's already so hard to get benefit from those piles of conditions, and the fact that each and every one of them is going to cost at least 2. Yeah, forget it.
No, absolutely. It's one of those cards that if your opponent's not playing a condition or event deck, like, it can feel like you have wasted a big part of your deck building, but if they are, it just wins games. One guy. So
2 threats getting added, one by the one, captured by the ring, and then Fat One wants it, triggering off Golem being played.
He needs to really worry about that Darkest Darkness. His regroup event will end this game if he can't put 2 wounds on him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
So, I mean, enough burdens to have Smeagol overwhelm him, maybe? Because only a Isildra's Bane can convert those wounds in the regroup phase.
Yeah. That is a fair point. Oh, wait, what? Well, I mean, I guess there's not really any of the better choices here. Oh, what was that?
Remove a burden.
Nine-fingered Frodo.
And
remove a burden or 2 threats. Okay.
Start the healing. Okay, that was good. I think he's a lot safer now.
And actually, I think he wants to use that ability, that skirmish ability. Get rid of that burden. You're not getting any benefit from it, and he will when he removes it.
Yep.
So, yeah, Darkest Darkness is actually a great counter to the Shire countryside for that reason, that you can consume all the... Oh, but is he going to be able to consume the burdens fast enough? I think you have to start trying. Use that ability, man. Don't just let it go by.
This is definitely one of those ones that...
Oh no, he's just letting it happen. Oh wait, what was that?
Hobbitses are dead.
Spot Golem or Smeagol to make a Nazgul minion.
It's the strength +2 that you can play from your discard pile if you have initiative.
But he doesn't.
No, that was played from hand.
Yeah.
Oh no! Don't exhaust.
Oh no! Sting used to make Golem strength -2. Okay, I wasn't really expecting that use, but come on, use the ability. He's going for the overwhelm. No, you can't let him build these burdens up. You've got to start removing them, dude.
He needs to go for the overwhelm because he just exhausted Frodo again.
Yeah. So now he has to do it. So now you may as well. I mean, I guess that's an infinite loop, right? That he'll just add.
Well,
remove.
If he was going to remove the burdens to add Twilight, he also would have triggered those Shire countrysides, wouldn't he?
Each time you remove a burden, so it has to be the Free People's player removing it.
Okay.
So no, like if I still think he shouldn't have let those build up. Now, on the other hand, he's now in Inquia territory, who would just come through and rip through this.
That's true.
So
yeah, that would be a very fast game.
So yeah, maybe he is looking at an Inkea in his hand and just giddily smiling at the 5 burdens that are now in play.
It's always so hard to tell. I think it's good from a strategy perspective that, like, when we're playing online, we can't watch the other player. Like, are they fidgeting? Are they smiling? Whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's a thing that I miss as a spectator of games like this and trying to guess who's going to do what.
And like someday it would be nice for the just for big events like the World Championship if we could set up webcams and such.
Yeah, I could see that.
See what people's stuff is going on. I think we would have to start actually taking it more seriously with stream delays and such, so like delaying everything by an hour or something. But yeah, because
I set it up so that
agree.
Yeah, would you set it up so that the opponent sees, like, the opponents see each other, or just
no?
I
would just
see the players?
We would just take their stream to the PC's stuff. Oh, and Quaya, but on the wrong side.
On the wrong side.
And no Mordor Orc, instead putting down all those Orc Bowmans costing 5 apiece.
Yeah, he is paying out the nose for those things.
They're going right back. Yeah,
and Kaya's probably going to deal a couple of wounds here.
Oh no, what was that? Splendor their banners.
Yeah, increase the owl paths.
Up and okay, well, yeah, took him out. Didn't even have a chance to put that Black Breath on somebody. Okay, Sanctuary healing up Mary to have a use for his ability, and the rest of it going on Sam. Another 2 copies of the Shire Countryside. Every one of those bird. Oh, and I bet that the only event that he's got is Nine-Fingered
Frodo. Yeah.
So now Birthday Present's going to be able to pull that out every single time that a single burden is removed. That's 4. Oh, whoa! Mary's Dagger was played, and a Dark Shape Spring was triggered.
I have never seen that card
I've never seen it used. So now we have a skirmish phase in the middle of the Fellowship phase. Gollum Mad Thing played from hand.
He came for free.
So he
cost
came
-2.
Essentially for free. A threat was added because a fat one wants it. So now Mary is gonna lose.
And he won't be able to use his ability in the actual skirmish phase.
Yeah. So both of those, so
unless
two heals would have gotten wasted a little bit. But it's also the fact that now, okay, Gollum is here, and I'm sure that this is completely blowing out Magion's plan. If he was concentrating and trying to figure out what he's doing, now he's doing a skirmish randomly. Wow, I've never seen
right.
that.
Well, and with Mad Thing, it means that if he gives him the strength +3 right here, it's going to persist for the skirmish phase because it stays until the.
Is that what that's waiting for?
I suspect so.
Well, it's each time. No, it's for the Free People's player to assign it, and the Free People's player didn't have to assign. So,
okay.
That was handled by a Dark Shape Spring. However, we have Frodo exerting twice to make sure that Gollum gets overwhelmed. Oh no! And now we have 9-fingered Frodo coming out
for 4 more heals during the Fellowship phase.
4 heals. Oh man, just reversing that and completely healing everybody up. Oh man. Are they triggering twice?
I don't think so. Shouldn't have. I count 4 in the chat. Oh, because it also triggered a light in his mind.
Oh,
he lost
goodness.
Initiative with the play of 9-fingered Frodo in the Ring of Doom.
Oh no.
Which means when he uses Birthday Present to get it back, he'll trigger it twice again in the skirmish phase.
Oh man.
That's rough.
Look at that. You went from we went from that looking almost like a god tier play to now he's in a much better position than he was.
Yep.
Oh man, and this throws me off. We just had a skirmish, but we're technically still in the Fellowship phase.
Right. Yeah, he's gonna use Birthday Present right here. Grab that back.
Extra Fellowship. I've never seen that before. Like that. That's essentially what the.
That was wild. All right, so what is Galadriel doing on this Fellowship? I haven't seen her discard anything yet.
Yeah, do they have? She might possibly just be there for things like Elven. I'm pretty sure that I saw him with an Elven cloak before, in the other game. So it's possible that he's there. That she's only there to be an elf to be spotted, and since she's free,
right?
Yeah. Because here no, Mary's Dagger doesn't require an elf. Okay, well, there's enough for Tildea to come into play. Tildea's not messing around. He's not going to care about burdens being removed or added or anything. That could be an overwhelmed Mary there.
Yeah.
Bill Fernie getting handsy with Galadriel.
Yeah, there's Twilight left, so the dagger's not going to save him.
Yeah.
Because he's got that 8 more heals coming, so he could have daggered, healed, daggered, discarded, but there's Twilight left on the table.
Yeah.
Interesting choice for Fernie. I don't think it's wrong, but I think my gut would have been to put it on Smeagol. Get him back up to 5 burdens.
That's fair. He's trying.
He's trying something. Does he have enough burden removal in his hand right now to just use it that many times? It seems unlikely, but...
Yeah, 9-fingered Frodo, come to think of it, you have to exert, so...
Right, but you can exert Frodo.
Well,
heal Mary back up.
Exerting anybody, or is it exerting...
I think it's just a Hobbit.
Let's see. 9-fingered Frodo in the Ring of Doom. Exert a character. Okay, so it doesn't have to be one that's...
Not even a Hobbit. You could exert Bombadil.
Yeah. Here it comes.
Yeah.
So he is exerting Mary, which I don't quite understand. I guess
it
doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think it makes a difference.
Especially because he's healing everything.
Right.
Because he triggered a light in his mind again. That is disgusting.
He did. It's really good.
Oh man.
There's a Sam that can help you get down to exactly 4 cards during the Fellowship phase that works really well with this combination. I still don't think he's got the damage here is, I mean, unless he's got more of that, Cliffs of Emmanuel could be one more wound to save Mary. But there's two Twilight left, and it only takes one to stop Mary's dagger. Is he just trying to clear the Twilight before Mary dies?
When you're in a situation like this where you're boned, like, you kind of have to bet that your opponent is going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
So, like, you may as well
just try it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy when you're spectating the game to be like, oh yeah, I would have done this, but like, I don't have any of the stress of trying to win when I'm watching a game.
Yeah. Okay, now we have...
Toldea no longer gets to choose his target.
Yeah, he did peel off a couple of those burdens now. I think you sacrifice Galadriel at this point.
Unless you want to add burdens back. You know, Smeagol could add 2 back if you think you're going to be removing them some more.
You know, I mean, the whole may as well. Like there's nothing about any of this that prevents you from... Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
You do the exertions, yeah.
I think the Toldea did shake him up a little bit. He doesn't want to be adding burdens to hit that 4 burden boundary. Because that did...
Toldea is a phenomenal card. I mean, here or wherever. I don't think there's a bad version of Toldea. Or maybe there is, and I just never see it played.
Yeah, I mean, how would you know?
There are several good versions of Toldea.
Yeah. Not very many, surprisingly.
Yeah, he doesn't have a Twilight.
Yeah, there's no Twilight version. And there's
I'm gonna go look.
No images left for Twilight versions.
Filtered by movie, because I don't know what any of those other things are. Yeah, I mean, his Enduring gives him damage plus, which is great. The Winged Sentry adds exertions or burdens. And Wraith on Wings is the initiative one, where he's just free. Yeah, I don't think there's a bad version of this guy. You know, he's not the strongest Nazgul in any sense, but like all of his cards, I think, are hits.
That actually makes it kind of difficult to design for things like that. And Quaya runs into that problem a lot. Where,
yep.
Wait a minute, why don't I have an image for this?
Oh, are you sharing other stuff on the stream? I've been monitoring it on my own because there's a delay on the stream. Oh, yeah, it's a Orc Pursuer.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should be sharing my screen here on Discord as well.
Oh no, I mean, I'm just also watching it in Gemp
right.
to avoid the Twitch delay.
Yeah, but here
that isn't Orc Pursuer, the one that's not loading for your picture.
Okay. Which Pursuer?
It's a tracker. If you have initiative, he becomes a strength 10.
This is super weird. Maybe I should just reload.
Yeah, okay, it's displaying fine for me, so it's not a general Gemp issue.
Weird network hiccup.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if he's just in here as a 1-point tracker for the Under the Watching Eye. Because he hasn't shown any initiative manipulation yet.
Yeah. Not on this side of his deck, anyway.
Right.
Can I just say I really hate that they went through the process of adding initiative to the game, making it to be a bad thing, and then they almost immediately
gave
released a bunch of cards that made losing initiative a good thing for the Free People's player. And it's just such a mess of a mechanic.
Yeah, it's not even that not having it I totally get it. There's always been cards that, are happy to be wounded. Gimli, that's strength +1, damage +1 for every wound on them. Like, I'm not bothered that they had people who were like, yeah, if your opponent has initiative, this guy is stronger. Like, he's a defensive character. It's the fact that you want to actively lose it. So there's all this hand manipulation of trying to lose it as many times as possible.
Yeah.
That I think has the potential for real abuse.
I mean,
They're always
we're looking at the abuse right now. Like,
right. Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to watch the deck that does that as like an engine. Like, it's so cool to be like, oh, okay, that was incredible. But it's if it's set up and you don't have a way of stopping it, it's rough to play against.
yeah.
All right, he's got enough Black Breaths out here that he can't just keep bouncing them. He can, however, archery everybody down.
Yeah. Oh, Dauntless Hunter. They couldn't make a better Greenleaf, so they made a monstrosity to make you play that Legolas instead.
They have so many versions of Legolas that are attempting to be that blocks Greenleaf.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you properly work with what Greenleaf is without removing his identity.
Yeah, like there's just too many. And most of them, I think, had their eye on, things are going to rotate out, and okay, so we're going to let you exert Legolas to do something that is in the general direction of being a direct wound, but not as good as Greenleaf does it, because we've already realized how bad of a decision that was.
Right.
Okay,
right.
What did I miss? Okay, yeah, another instance of... Okay, birthday present did get used. There we go. Added a burden. Brought Nine-Fingered Frodo into hand.
He is not sitting at 4 cards, though, so he won't have quite the abuse here.
Yep.
And a brute could be really bad.
Yeah.
3 burdens on the table.
Brute likes having those burdens there.
Yep. Ferny Web. Okay. I mean, maybe it's just there to help play Golem more often. No Golem at the moment, though, but he would be fierce if... Oh, he already would have been fierce. Hidden Even from here was in play.
Yeah.
Taldea can't trigger. But Fernie can make Taldea a 16.
It's going to be a race to remove those burdens.
Yep. We know he's got a 9-fingered Frodo, so he can bring it down to 2 before the Brute has a chance to trigger.
He's at a full hand, though, so he can't
Yeah.
re-trigger Light in his Mind. Botnick saying, yeah, we should just nerf all elves to 1 vitality. Elves definitely do too much. Like, I kind of get the lore justifications that, they're ancient peoples, they're magical, but, like, they get all the goodies, and...
I don't think any... nerfing their vitality or their strength, I don't think really addresses the problems that elves have.
What they need to have is some of their versatility removed. The fact that they have the best condition removal...
Right. Or make it more expensive. If some of these tools weren't about exerting an ally who's going to heal right back up, or adding 2 Twilight, but and they've even got one that I think started to try to play with this. There's a regroup event that lets you discard an elf to draw some cards. And I love that idea of the elves are here, but they're passive. They're going home. I think you could do a lot with that.
I think that they should be
area.
like from a thematic standpoint. I think that they should be unable to affect the support area. Like their whole thing is that they're losing influence. They're losing the ability to impact the greater world, and that's what support area stuff represents: is the world getting worse. So, I think that they should just not be able to do that.
If you adjusted it around so that only elf companions can affect the support area, because they are actively out there, right? I mean, realistically, it should just be Legolas, but we've got Arwen and the Naths and whomever who, in the card version of this game are being more active.
Yeah.
Make things like Secret Sentinels, require companions, not allies. Make allies affect your fellowship.
That's an interesting tweak. That would actually go back, and that would affect Fellowship block quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I spit it out there as we're chatting, but like, Greenleaf's just there. If you could run Secret Sentinels without also needing to have Elven companions, it's just going to become that much more prevalent.
On the other hand, by doing that, you're losing the opportunity cost of having a wound on somebody. I actually don't hate that idea. Although, like any kind of discussion about condition removal, I do think that we've got that. We've got some reworks coming that are gonna change how some of this stuff works.
Yeah, the nukes I think is a big thing that need to be looked. I even started a thread on that, and then I got sick, and I have not paid any attention to what y'all have been saying in there.
So one of the things that I brought up is that Finarfin, the guy who designs V1, he understandably got a little bit annoyed at how long V2 was taking to get implemented, and we had always had this rough plan of V1 being a fellowship set and V2 being a tower set and V3 being a king set. And at this point, he's got other things he wants to explore, and he doesn't really want to do the whole king rework thing. And I was like, okay, well, I really want the king rework, so I guess if he's not going to do it, then I'll have to. So I've been sitting down and sketching a bunch of card ideas that are related to Return of the King, that were not done in King Block. And one of those things that I have been working on is trying to introduce a new mechanic for handling conditions and other things temporarily, instead of making discard the only thing that you can do. So internally, I've referred to it as the silence mechanic, although the verb I'm using nowadays is hinder.
That's the one that kind of effectively makes them not in play for the turn, as opposed to removing them.
Flips them upside down and says, okay, you can't use this card, but whenever any player reconciles, you restore all of your hindered cards.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential in that kind of thing. I've probably read you talking about it before.
But I think that would just straight up solve things like sleep Caradris. Like if you hinder every single condition, like, okay, cool, you've actually done something meaningful where you have bought yourself time for a site, but next site it's right back. So like it's
I think that would be a huge. And whether it's exactly that or something just kind of similar, how long it lasts, is it regroup phase, is it until the fellowship reconciles, whatever. I think that would be really, really good for the game, as long as you start by looking at it with things like Sleep Cahadris and Saruman's Power.
Yeah.
You can't make new cards that do this with Sleep existing in the meta.
Oh yeah. That's and in fact that's one of the reasons why I've been discussing it in that thread, because I think that it would make sense for those errata to occur at the same time that we are doing a V3 release that introduces the mechanic on new novel cards. That's one of the things that we're doing with V2, is that we have a set of errata that are coming along with it, changing some of the Nath cards, and so like I think that it'll just be straightforward to have the errata batch that is intended to go out with that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how all that goes. I've not been a big part of any of the playtesting or anything for the V sets, but I have looked over what was proposed, and I think there's some really exciting things in there.
And we're actually going to, I don't know if you saw the video that I released the other day about going into some of the details, but we're planning that on during the group stage, during the lunch break, we're going to have an exhibition match. Tunadan is going to play up against someone else. We haven't quite decided who. And we're just going to stream the playtest server of two decks that have been built with V2, so that people can see where it's at, what it's looking.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, and we can show off the new mechanics, the new cards that are there, and we're hoping to get this out later this year. The original goal was to do it in November, right after right after the WC is wrapped up. We may or may not be ready by then, but it will definitely be done by Yuletide, I think.
I'm excited to see how that all goes. So I know there's cards I want to play from these. I spent when they first got put on the playtest server, I built a bunch of decks because I was excited, and then life just got busy, and I don't think I've played a single game.
Yeah, it happens.
Like I played a couple against myself while I was first getting the decks built up, but like that was it. In this game, though, we've got a Witch King and a Lemenia.
So hang on. So I think is this the same? So who moved down? Magyarn. Yeah. So he doubled, right?
He doubled. Yep. Toldean and Brute were already on the field when he moved.
So he managed to. What happened to Bill Fernie?
He used Cliffs of Emmanuel to wound him.
Okay, take him out so that they didn't have that flexibility. But then with that move, we've got the Witch King on the table.
We do. And Lamenya, who can spot 4 minions, so is fierce and damage +1.
Ouch.
And a 12. I really love this version of Lamenya, conceptually, because I really want to make the Sword of Minas Morgul capable of going on somebody who can do something with it.
Mm-hmm.
But fitting enough equipment or Fell Voices into a deck that also needs to have ideally 4 minions on the table at once is just hard.
Yeah. Lamenya is kind of weird that he's got that equipment that's built just for him. The weakest Nazgul is
the fact that would like if they'd made that for Atea or Toldea, like one of the bigger 3 Vitality guys, I totally would get it. Like it's a cool weapon, it's neat and thematic to have another unique one out there, not just the Pale Blade. But like they put it on the little guy who only has 1 exertion, barely benefits from the damage +1. He's not bad. I mean, Lamenya has some decent options. The one that makes everybody penalized if you've got conditions on you, and this guy's cool in an orc deck.
Yeah.
Oh,
uh-oh.
And the game is over.
Megan took too long to. Oh wow. Okay.
Oh,
this was a blitz match, and he just totally ran out of clock.
Yep.
Which this is a tricky setup.
I mean, he did a great job playing all the way through here, but he is playing a deck that required a lot of thinking and a lot of moves.
Yeah.
So he's going to this style of deck will always run the clock more.
Yeah, I don't think he could run this in blitz. That's probably a bit of a risk to do that.
And if you can't run it in blitz, you definitely can't take it to a tournament. I got hit with that in the first tournament this cycle. I forgot they were shorter than blitz games, and I ran out of time.
Yeah, it's rough.
Second match.
Yeah, with those 20-minute per player clocks, but we have to. Like it's.
I fully support that the time is what it is, but when you haven't played a tournament since last November, I forgot.
Yeah.
It's just easy to lose track of. This is good timing on my end. I am afraid I need to step away. My family has gotten home, and I need to take care of the kids.
Right on.
But
well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I really enjoy doing these, even if we were gonna just do them not about a world championship lead up. Like these are fun.
I wish that more people would stream besides me. Is my big thing. Like because I can't always be available to do this. If we just had more people willing to run OBS and do this, like it doesn't take much.
I will wait until after the World Championships because I need to practice for that and don't want to give away the decks I'm playing.
Yeah.
But I should figure out how to get a Twitch setup going, even if I'm just streaming myself playing and kind of talking aloud to myself.
We need more of that.
Happy to do it.
If I had like 3 or 4 people that were willing to stream, like that's something that is one of the big things that we as a community are missing is people showing off current streams or even just doing commentary for replays or something like that. We're missing that aspect of a healthy community.
Yeah, I'm very unreliable in how often I play. I might play 30 games in a week and then not again for a month and a half.
That's everybody. So what we need is 20 people of your caliber.
Right. So there's always somebody.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Well, anyway, I'll let you get back to your family. But yeah, thanks.
I'll try to remember to get a Twitch account set up and see if I can't figure out how to stream stuff after.
It's pretty simple.
After next week.
And just get a hold of me and I'll walk you through it. It's not.
Yeah, awesome.
Not much.
Well, fantastic. I'm playing next week, but I imagine I will not make it to the week after that. So I'm going to jump in with you on this for that one if it's still going on.
Right on.
These are great.
See you then. I hope I don't, but you never know.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so taking a look at this one, this is actually a. Wait. Okay, this one's Fellowship Black PC. I thought we were looking at the movie Black. Never mind. Okay, so Fellowship Black. We've got a modified Elf Man up here at the top by Danny, playing Last Alliance of Elves and Men with the V1 Estelle and the V1 Gandalf of Loren. And it looks like, Okay, so and then down below we have Black Myth playing. I'm not sure. It's probably not doing well. The fact that you got all these promises and no Sam. You've got the Shire Countryside, so there you can see the PC version of that. And then we have a Gandalf and Aragorn down at the bottom. This must have been just more of a Hobbit-focused deck. That is probably, yeah. Sam and Pippin are both dead. That's not great. But then up top, Danny is playing Moria Swarm up against these. Interesting. That's an interesting gambit. I guess it doesn't actually matter since all of them are 6 strength, right? But so he, the bottom player here, Black Myth, assigned just those 2, and then left all 4 unassigned for their opponent. Of course, all 3 of them went on to Frodo, and 1 of them went on to Merry. And unless there's something like a, oh, yeah, Black Myth conceded. Yeah, no way out. I guess didn't have any sort of tooling. No Servant of the Secret Fire. Even a Paths wouldn't help much because these Moria Scouts have 2 vitality, and so you'd still be left with 12 strength up against a 4 strength Frodo. Okay, well, that particular match did not last very long. Let's see. What's the best thing to jump into here? We got a Fellowship block match here between Pizdik and Tams 91. Pizdik is also one of the WC contenders. So we have Tams 91 up top, Pizdik down below. Pizdik is currently the Free People's player. Looks like a general. Well, it's not Friends of the Shire, folks. I don't know what you call that. Super Friends. And then up top, it is now switched over to Tams 91. Now, the Free People's player, this is very clearly a Elfman deck. You got your Elf allies even being sprinkled in with those Exert to Wound Site 6 allies and Herald to Gilgalad. And must obviously be playing Ring Wraiths with Wreath and Shadow there. Looks like there was no... Interesting. Okay, so there were actually some Shadow cards, but they chose to not play anything. Or rather, because of Heir to the White City, I think they got to Site 6 and there was not a whole lot of Twilight put down. So no minions came out. And yeah, so he exerted to use Sting to take a look and say, well, was that just because you're taking the piss or what? So we've got a similar ally setup down here with Galadriel, Lady of Light, instead of the Herald of Gilgalad. And then Ramil and Orphan both out, so both Orcs and Uruk-hai are going to get taken out. Balrog played at the Bridge of Khazad Doom. Gandalf is going to be able to do Gandalf Staff once, but he doesn't have enough vitality to play it twice. So yeah, sacrifice Sam. Good old speed bump Sam. Roll him in front of the Balrog, and it's enough to make him trip so he doesn't get anyone else. Another use of Sting, so this so both players are now aware of what the other person is holding in their hand. Botnik says in chat, there should really be something that discards artifacts, especially Gondor, probably referring to the Gilrain's Memorial. Although there are also other artifacts that are a little bit problematic. Honestly, I think that the Sapling of the White Tree does too much for what it does. I think, honestly, that some of them should just not be artifacts. There's just a little bit too much going on there. I do think that that mechanic I was referring to, Hinder, the ability to just silence a bunch of them and make it so that they're flipped over and unusable for a turn, that would probably help alleviate the issue. All right, so we have Twilight Nazgul being brought out. We've got Enquea, really good when he wins a skirmish, and he usually does. He can exert to wound the ring bearer twice, and then when he does so, he's going to put more than 3 wounds on Frodo, and so Nelia here is going to become fierce and damage +1. So that is a particularly deadly combo here. Had to sacrifice a companion, and now... Oh, okay, it's only exerting twice because he can't spot 5 burdens, but still, now you end up with a Nelia. And taking out Ramil, so those Site 6 allies getting sacrificed so that the companionship, the fellowship can remain pristine. Alright, so we have Tams 91 moving down here, and we have a whole slew of Isengard orcs coming out. It makes me think that the other time that guy didn't play anything, I think he was just building up a bomb. Because look at this. Saruman Snow's coming out. And we have the Isengard Warrior out, so that none of these... Oh, they don't have the relevant one anyway, the Orc one. This might be game. If that's 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to end up with 15 strength against Frodo. Can't use any skirmish special abilities, and can't use skirmish events, so you can't even use paths to get yourself out of this. There's no Sam on the table to catch the ring if Frodo dies. There it goes. Just big enough. Just enough. Very excellent. All right, folks. Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm going to go take a break and go get some lunch. And I'll be back a little while later. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and close down the stream. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And I hope that you all will tune in next week. We will be running the World Championship on next Saturday, starting at 1300 UTC. We'll be running a live stream just like this, just like when Mock was on here. We'll have a few people watching games, and we'll be kind of zipping back and forth between games as big things are happening, just to try and capture all the best, biggest moments. And yeah, so I hope that you'll tune in then to see us. I'll shut down the stream for now. See you all later.